The divine sword is invincible. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 401, Gate of Hell. Impossible. Libby shook his head and said, the Lord of Kangshan had already cut off the head of the undefeated underworld god and sealed his head and body in different places. The undefeated underworld god cannot be resurrected. Another ancestor also said, I also think it is impossible for the undefeated underworld god. But, if it is not the undefeated underworld god, who could it be? The ancestors discussed. At this time, the sword god Zilong said, in fact, the seal that sealed the head of the undefeated underworld god has been broken. What? As soon as the sword god Zilong said this, both Chenjing and Libby and others changed their faces. The seal of the head of the undefeated underworld god was actually broken. Then the head of the undefeated underworld god is not. Sword god Zilong sighed deeply and said, to be honest, the seal that sealed the head of the undefeated underworld god was actually broken more than 1,000 years ago. But the head of the undefeated underworld god has long disappeared. The words of the sword god Zilong made everyone feel cold. The head of the undefeated underworld god is actually gone. This is simply shocking news. If this matter is spread, it will definitely cause a great shock in the Kangshan continent. The seal that seals the head of the undefeated dark god has always been guarded by masters in our Kangshan mansion, but more than 1,000 years ago, a group of grey-clothed masked men suddenly appeared. They were all very powerful and injured several ancestors who were guarding it, then broke the seal and took away the head of the undefeated dark god. Zilong's voice was heavy. Chenjing, Libby and others looked at each other. Panic spread in the hall. The appearance of the undead god of death a few days ago had already shocked the world, and now even the head of the undefeated dark god has disappeared. If the undefeated dark god is resurrected, the Kangshan continent will be in chaos. The Kangshan mansion can still deal with one undefeated god of death, but if there is another undefeated dark god, I'm afraid that the Kangshan mansion cannot suppress it. If the undead god of death and the undefeated dark god join forces, it is estimated that even their Lord Kang Xiang will not be a match. This is a matter of great importance, so please do not leak the news. Zilong glanced at everyone and warned. Everyone was startled and responded respectfully. Sir, have you found out who took the head of the undefeated underworld god? Chenjing couldn't help asking. It should be someone from the underworld gate. Zilong said solemnly. Underworld gate. Everyone was shocked. In the past, the underworld gate was the sect founded by the undefeated underworld god. Underworld gate still exists. Libby was surprised. In the past, the undefeated underworld god was killed by the lord of the god of Kang. Didn't the underworld gate be destroyed? Zilong shook his head. In the battle that year, almost all the masters of the underworld gate died, but there were still some fish that slipped through the net. The son of the underworld god escaped that year. When mentioning the son of the underworld god, everyone was shocked. The son of the underworld god is the son of the undefeated underworld god. He is talented and comparable to the undefeated underworld god. Even the undefeated underworld god praises him. If the son of the underworld god is still alive, I'm afraid that his strength is not weaker than the undefeated underworld god back then. The one who took away the head of the undefeated Hades should be the son of Hades. Zilong said. Hearing that the son of Hades was still alive, everyone felt even more depressed. If the undefeated Hades were to be resurrected, together with the son of Hades and the immortal death god, it would be absolutely terrifying. The son of Hades rescued the head of Hades, and I'm afraid he will also rescue the body of Hades. Libby looked worried. Zilong nodded. We also thought of this, but don't worry, the body of Hades is sealed in the deepest part of Kangshan mansion, and Lord Kang Xiang and the lord of the mansion take turns to guard it. The son of Hades can't save the body of Hades. Hearing that the body of Hades was suppressed in the deepest part of Kangshan mansion, and Lord Kang Xiang and the lord of Kangshan mansion took turns to guard it, everyone felt relieved. However, you still have to be careful and prepared. The son of Hades has been alive for these years and secretly restored the Hades Gate. I'm afraid that many demon sects and evil masters in Kangshan continent have already defected to the Hades Gate. Zilong said. Hearing that many demon sect forces and evil masters have surrendered to the underworld, everyone felt even more depressed. And maybe some super sects and families in the 10,000 Gods Empire have spies from the underworld. Zilong said, it is even possible that even our Kangshen Academy and Kangshen Mansion may have spies from the underworld. The masters at the scene immediately looked at each other with a vigilant look. But, everyone, I still believe it. Zilong said, don't be suspicious. I mean those disciples or elders, the supreme elders. If you find spies from the underworld, kill them immediately, don't hesitate. Everyone responded respectfully. Just as everyone was talking about the undefeated underworld god and the underworld, suddenly, a thunderous dragon roar sounded, and the sound resounded throughout the Kangshen Academy. A vast dragon power from ancient times swept across the world. Everyone was stunned, and then looked in the direction of the dragon blood pool. What is this? Chenjing said in surprise. Ancient dragon soul. I saw a huge dragon soul appear in the sky in the direction of the dragon blood pool. The dragon soul raised its head and roared to the world. Who is in the dragon blood pool? Zilong was also surprised and asked. It's Yang Xiaoyao. Chenjing smiled and said, he entered the dragon blood pool early in the morning to practice. I didn't expect that he would actually trigger the ancient dragon soul in the dragon blood pool. Zilong was relieved when he heard this. Only disciples with extraordinary talents can trigger the ancient dragon soul by practicing in the dragon blood pool. If it was Yang Xiaoshan, it would not be surprising. At this moment, suddenly, another earth-shaking dragon roar sounded, and another huge dragon soul appeared above the dragon blood pool. Everyone was stunned. 2 ancient dragon souls? What's going on? Isn't there only one ancient dragon soul in the dragon blood pool? How can there be 2 ancient dragon souls? An old ancestor asked in surprise. From ancient times to the present, all disciples who entered the dragon blood pool to practice only triggered 1 ancient dragon soul. No one has ever seen 2 ancient dragon souls. But then, another ancient dragon soul flew out. 3 ancient dragon souls. Even Chenjing was stunned. Then, it was the 4th ancient dragon soul, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th. The ancient dragon souls in the dragon blood pool seemed endless. Not only the senior leaders, but also the disciples of the peaks and halls of Kangshen Academy were all shocked. Finally, the number of ancient dragon souls above the dragon blood pool reached 10, and then it stopped. Zilong looked at the 10 ancient dragon souls and exclaimed, it seems that the legend is true. Legend? Everyone looked at Zilong. But Zilong did not explain what the legend was. Yang Xiaoshan, who was sitting cross-legged in the dragon blood pool, felt that his blood was boiling, and the dragon essence in his body became thicker and more solid. The dragon blood in the dragon blood pool continued to penetrate into his body, and his skin seemed to be coated with a layer of golden light, shining brightly. After 1 day, the time for entering the dragon blood pool for cultivation ended. Yang Xiaoshan was sent out of the dragon blood pool. Although he could only enter the dragon blood pool for cultivation for 1 day, this 1 day of cultivation had unimaginable benefits for Yang Xiaoshan. Chapter 402, Searching for the Divine Shadow Sword. As Liao Zheng said before, practicing in the dragon blood pool for 1 day is equivalent to practicing for a month. During this day of practice, Yang Xiaoshan's cultivation level improved a lot. Moreover, Yang Xiaoshan's ki and blood improved by 100 miles. Although 100 miles is just a drop in the bucket for Yang Xiaoshan now, it is amazing to improve 100 miles in 1 day. When Yang Xiaoshan first swallowed the heavenly dragon divine fruit, he only improved 5,000 miles in 2 months. On average, he didn't even improve 100 miles a day. As soon as Yang Xiaoshan came out of the dragon blood pool, he heard many disciples of the academy talking about the billions of ghosts and spirits in the Death Sword Tomb. The billions of ghosts and spirits appeared near the Death Sword Tomb. Maybe they were controlled by the masters of the underworld. All the disciples were shocked. Yang Xiaoshan's face darkened when he heard the discussion. Underworld? Of course, he knew that the underworld was the sect founded by the undefeated underworld god. It was really a troubled time. The undead death god was severely injured. I thought that the Kangshen continent would be peaceful for a few years, but now the people of the underworld have appeared again. The masters of the underworld clan practiced the techniques of the underworld, manipulated ghosts and spirits, and used cruel methods, which made all the sects in the Kangshen continent shudder. As soon as Yang Xiaoshan returned to the mountain, Sword God Zilong and Chenjing came to find him. The two were relieved to see Yang Xiaoshan. Tomorrow, the disciples of the Kangshen Academy will go to the Death Sword Tomb for a trial. Chenjing said to Yang Xiaoshan, if you don't want to go, you can practice quietly in the academy. He was worried that this trial was dangerous and Yang Xiaoshan would get into trouble. Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and said, since everyone is going, I will go with you. He knew that Chenjing meant well, but he didn't want to be special. Zilong nodded in approval and said with a smile, if you need any resources for your practice, you can go to the Kangshen Academy treasury to get them. I have already told Chenjing that you can enter and exit the Kangshen Academy treasury freely in the future. Even the ancestors of the Kangshen Academy cannot enter and exit the Kangshen Academy treasury freely. Only Chenjing can do so. But now, Zilong has granted Yang Xiaoshan the right to enter and exit the Kangshen Academy treasury freely. It can be seen that Zilong and Kangshen Academy value and take special care of Yang Xiaoshan. Thank you, Lord Zilong. Yang Xiaoshan clasped his fists. Zilong smiled and said, if you need any cultivation resources that are not in the Kangshen Academy treasury, you can also ask me, and I will see if there are any in the Kangshen Mansion treasury. Chenjing opened his mouth. A new disciple of Kangshen Academy can enjoy the treasures of the Kangshen Mansion treasury. This is unique. Yang Xiaoshan heard this, but his heart moved and asked, I wonder if there are 9-layer heavenly tribulation thunderwater and god level elixirs in the Kangshen Mansion treasury? This time it was Zilong's turn to open his mouth. Zilong smiled bitterly and said, 9-layer heavenly tribulation thunderwater is rare in the world, and even a drop is hard to find. God level elixirs, even the lord of the mansion is reluctant to swallow them for cultivation. Yang Xiaoshan scratched his head embarrassedly and said, what about the god level dregs? I want some god level dregs. He is still short of 2 life god fruits and needs a lot of god level dregs. God level dregs? Zilong was puzzled, not understanding what Yang Xiaoshan wanted to do with the god level dregs. Old man Li Nan seems to have a lot of waste residues of magic medicine. If you need it, I will have someone send it to you. Zilong said. The Li Nan he was talking about was the medicine god Li Nan, one of the 4 gods of Kangshen Mansion. Thank you, Lord Zilong. Yang Xiaoshan hurriedly thanked him after hearing this. Zilong smiled and said, don't call me Lord in the future. Just call me Brother Zilong in the future. Chenjing was sweating. If Yang Xiaoshan called Zilong brother, what should he call Yang Xiaoshan in the future? Grandpa Yang? Or Senior Yang? There are still things to do in Kangshen Mansion. I will return to Kangshen Mansion later. Zilong said to Yang Xiaoshan earnestly, in the future, no matter when and where, you must protect yourself. Only by protecting yourself can you protect your family in the future and protect Kangshen continent. Yang Xiaoshan nodded solemnly. Finally, Zilong turned into a sword light and broke through the air and left. Xiaoshan, I seem to have some waste residue of the magic medicine. I'll have someone send it to you later. After Zilong left, Chenjing said to Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan was delighted to hear this and thanked Chenjing. Chenjing shook his hand and said with a smile, you and I don't need to be polite in the future. Then he left without disturbing Yang Xiaoshan's practice. Sure enough, not long after, Chenjing asked his disciple Xiaoming to send a bunch of waste residue of the magic medicine. And there was a lot, almost as much as he had before. Yang Xiaoshan was overjoyed and quickly swallowed all of them by the tree of life. After sending Xiaoming out of the mountain, Yang Xiaoshan thought about it and flew to the sword pavilion. Tomorrow is the trial. He wants to take the opportunity to go to the sword pavilion to find the divine shadow sword and see if he can find it and then subdue it. The divine shadow sword is the 3rd rank magic sword. If he can subdue it, practice the divine shadow sword and combine it with his 14 invincible sword hearts, then his swordsmanship will undoubtedly be stronger. Moreover, Yang Xiaoshan felt that if he could find more divine swords, he might be able to cultivate the 15th sword heart. Although it was said that the Lord of Kangshen cultivated 14 sword hearts, there was no record in any divine book that the limit of a warrior was 14 sword hearts. Just as Yang Xiaoshan flew to the sword pavilion, two men in black were having a secret conversation in a mountain of core disciples of Kangshen Academy. Master Corpse Demon said that if Yang Xiaoshan goes to the trial tomorrow, he must be killed. The tall man in black said coldly, Chenjing, Libi and others will go tomorrow. It will be difficult to kill Yang Xiaoshan. The other shorter man in black frowned. If we can't kill Yang Xiaoshan on the way, then we'll wait until we get to the Death Sword Tomb and try to lure Yang Xiaoshan into the millions of ghosts and spirits. Then, let him die at the hands of millions of ghosts and spirits. Once Yang Xiaoshan is trapped in the millions of ghosts and spirits, Chenjing, Libi and the others won't be able to save him, even if they want to. Understood. The two men in black were talking in secret, and Yang Xiaoshan didn't know that he landed in the sword pavilion. The sword pavilion was guarded by an old ancestor, but when the old ancestor saw that it was Yang Xiaoshan, he let him go immediately. Yang Xiaoshan entered the sword pavilion and saw that the sword pavilion was full of swords, which reminded Yang Xiaoshan of the sword origin in the Emperor Wu city. After entering the sword pavilion, Yang Xiaoshan urged the power of the 14 sword hearts and walked into the sea of swords while sensing the divine shadow sword. Attracted by the power of Yang Xiaoshan's 14 sword hearts, countless flying swords flew towards Yang Xiaoshan wherever Yang Xiaoshan passed, surrounding Yang Xiaoshan like colorful butterflies. However, after Yang Xiaoshan walked through every corner of the sword pavilion, he still did not find the divine shadow sword. Is the divine shadow sword not in the sword pavilion? Yang Xiaoshan wondered. He had also checked a lot of information these days and thought that the divine shadow sword was in the sword pavilion, but it was invisible and no one could find it. But now it seems that the divine shadow sword is not in the sword pavilion. If it was in the sword pavilion, the power of his 14 sword hearts would definitely have drawn the divine shadow sword out. Chapter 403 3000 Emperor Yang Shen. Yang Xiaoshan came out of the sword pavilion and saw that it was already dark. He could only wait until the trial was over before continuing to look for it. As long as the divine shadow sword was in the Kangshen Academy, he would find it sooner or later. He was going to have a trial tomorrow. Yang Xiaoshan went back to the mansion of the gods and told the demon ape and the others that he would be away for a few days. He asked them to practice hard and be ready to face the undead spirits and ghosts at any time. Upon learning that billions of ghosts appeared near the Death Sword Tomb, the demon ape and the others all looked solemn. Young master, I will go with you tomorrow, the demon ape said to Yang Xiaoshan. After all, Yang Xiaoshan would face billions of ghosts in this trial, which was extremely dangerous. Lao Bing, Lao Meng, Lao Mo, and Manfang also said that they would go with Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and said, I'm going to the trial with the disciples of Kangshen Academy this time. It is not convenient for you to go with me. Besides, Dean Chenjing and Libi will also go tomorrow. With them here, there should be no danger. Yang Xiaoshan said to Manfang, when the dwarves come, let them make more weapons, armor, and elixirs, especially healing elixirs. Once the Kangshen continent is in chaos, weapons and elixirs will be in short supply, so they must prepare enough weapons and elixirs. Although it is said that with Kangxiang and Kangshen Mansion, the Kangshen continent will not be in chaos, but no one can guarantee that there will be no chaos. He has to prepare for the worst. Don't worry, young master. Manfang also knew that the situation was serious and responded respectfully. Old ape, you should talk to the surrounding mansions these days to see if you can also acquire them together. Yang Xiaoshan said, price is not a problem. In the future, he wants to gather all his forces in the capital of the 10,000 gods. Although the mansion of the gods is large, it is still not enough. The demon ape understood what Yang Xiaoshan meant and nodded, saying, don't worry, young master. When you come back from the trial, I will buy the entire 10,000 gods empire. He patted his chest. Yang Xiaoshan was speechless. What did he want the entire empire for? He didn't want to sit on the throne of the 10,000 gods empire. Then, the devil ancestor Mishan reported to Yang Xiaoshan, young master, the day of the low tide of the Sea of Stars has been found out. It will be the day of the low tide of the Sea of Stars in 3 months. At this point, he hesitated and said, "It's just strange that many masters of the demon sect are also asking about the day of the low tide of a sea of stars." Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. Many masters of the demon sect are also asking about the day of the low tide of a sea of stars? Could it be that the masters of the demon sect also want to enter the sea of stars to find something? Inquire why the masters of the demon sect want to enter the sea of stars. Yang Xiaoshan pondered. The devil ancestor Mishan replied respectfully. When Yang Xiaoshan came out of the mansion, it was already late at night. But on the streets of the imperial capital, patrolling soldiers could be seen everywhere. Obviously, with the appearance of billions of ghosts in the Death Sword Tomb, even the 10,000 Gods Empire began to get nervous. Even the 10,000 Gods Empire was so nervous, so imagine what other empires would be like. First, the undead god of death was born, and now the Hades Gate was in chaos. Yang Xiaoshan always felt that a storm was coming. The Kangshen continent would be in chaos. Thinking of his current strength, Yang Xiaoshan felt helpless. If the Kangshen continent was in chaos, his strength would still be far from enough to deal with the chaotic world. He still had to madly improve his strength. After returning to the Kangshen Academy, Yang Xiaoshan thought about it, went to the medicine hall to buy a large number of medicinal materials, and then refined a large number of Cheyenne Pin 9 transformation return to origin pills. After tossing all this, Yang Xiaoshan swallowed the 6th heaven tribulation thunder water and life spirit liquid to practice the beginning dragon art. Now there was not much Nineth heaven tribulation thunder water left, and he dared not use it. These Nineth heaven tribulation thunder water were kept for life saving. After practicing all night, the sun was rising. Yang Xiaoshan flew to the gathering square. At this time, many academy disciples had gathered in the gathering square. This time, not only the new disciples had to go, but all the disciples in the academy had to go. 3,000 Emperors Yang Shen. Here comes Yang Shen. Just as Yang Xiaoshan flew to the square, a disciple in the square suddenly shouted. Everyone looked at Yang Xiaoshan. The 4 beauties, Bailey, the 9 Fox Princess, Wanning, the 10,000 Gods Princess, Zhengkai Qian, and Ang Huang Xiu, all looked at Yang Xiaoshan. Bailey had seen Yang Xiaoshan, but Wanning, Zhengkai Qian, and Ang Huang Xiu had not seen Yang Xiaoshan. Since the new disciples joined examination, the name of the 3,000 Emperors Yang Shen has been at its peak, and its prestige has completely overshadowed the 4 beauties and the 4 swords. In the past 2 days, almost everywhere was talking about Yang Xiaoshan. Even the servants in their house were talking about Yang Xiaoshan, and Wanning, Zhengkai Qian, and Ang Huang Xiu had heard it so many times that their ears were calloused. Yang Xiaoshan was said to be so amazing that he fought against the 3,000 emperors with one hand, swept across the 13 continents with 2 palms, was the best sword in the world, and even the best handsome man came out. Under the gaze of Wanning, Zhengkai Qian, Dang Huangxiu and others, Yang Xiaoshan came in the air wearing a blue robe made by his mother. He was covered with the rising sun, and stepped on the flame of the earth. He was like a god descending from the sky. He was elegant in this turbid world, and dominated the world. Many girls in the college were moved. Even Wanning, Zhengkai Qian and Ang Huangxiu had their beautiful eyes flashing with strange light. Lin Mia's heart was beating fast. Flame of the earth. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan coming on the flame of the earth, many disciples at the scene exclaimed. Wanning, Zhengkai Qian and Ang Huangxiu obviously didn't expect that Yang Xiaoshan could even subdue the world's #1 strange fire, the flame of the earth. 3,000 emperors can even subdue the flame of the earth. They are worthy of being called the 3,000 emperors. I wonder how good the 3,000 emperors are at refining medicine. I heard that the Buddha's son is the #1 alchemist in the Foyan Empire. I wonder how the 3,000 emperors compare to him. Many disciples at the scene whispered to each other. Tang Huan, the Buddha's son, listened to the discussion and his face twitched. He looked up to the sky and sighed. Since Yang was born, why was Tang born? Among the disciples, Zibuhu, one of the 4 swords, looked at Yang Xiaoshan, who was the center of attention, but a coldness flashed in his eyes. Xiao Han, one of the 4 swords, looked at Yang Xiaoshan and also frowned. Yang Xiaoshan is now worshipped by the disciples of Kangshen Academy, but not all disciples worship, and like Yang Xiaoshan, For example, Zebu and Zio-Han now look at Yang Zio-Ocean and find it unpleasant, no matter how they look at him. Under the gaze of everyone, Yang Zio-Ocean came to the scene, and the flame of the earth automatically retracted. Seeing Yang Zio-Ocean coming, Lin Mir came to Yang Zio-Ocean with a blushing face. "Young Master Yang, you are here." "Miss Lin." Yang Zio-Ocean nodded and smiled at Lin Mir. When Xianlang Buddha Yao Kingsu was about to go over, she saw Nine Fox Princess Bailey come to Yang Zio-Ocean, bowed and said to Yang Zio-Ocean, "Young Master Yang, Bailey was abrupt last time. Bailey apologizes to you. Please don't blame me, young Master Yang." Yang Zio-Ocean shook his hand and smiled. "Miss Bay, you are too polite. It's just a small matter." Then, Yao Kingsu and Xianwan King also came over to greet Yang Zio-Ocean. Seeing Yang Zio-Ocean surrounded by 4 beauties, Lin Mir, Bailey, Yao Kingsu, and Xianwan King, it would be a lie for the male disciples not to envy him. Princess Wanning of the 10,000 gods stared at Yang Zio-Ocean suspiciously. She seemed to have seen this Yang Zio-Ocean before, but she just couldn't remember it for a while. Chapter 404, Finally meet billions of ghosts. Not long after Yang Zio-Ocean arrived, Chenjing, Li and other senior executives also arrived. Chenjing glanced at everyone and said, "Since everyone is here, let's go." After saying this, he floated up and landed on the spaceship of Kangshen Academy first. Everyone stood up and flew onto the spaceship. Seeing that everyone was on the spaceship, Chenjing asked someone to drive the spaceship and flew away. On the spaceship, Princess Wanning of Wanshen came to Yang Zio-Ocean and said, "I'm Wanning, and I meet Mr. Yang." Then she said, "Mr. Yang, where have we met before?" After saying that, she stared at Yang Zio-Ocean with a burning look. The disciples around saw that the always arrogant Princess Wanning actually used this method to chat with Yang Zio-Ocean, and they couldn't help but howl like wolves. Wanning suddenly glanced at the disciples around her. Suddenly, the wolf howls stopped. It turned out to be Princess Wanning. Yang Zio-Ocean clasped his fists to Wanning and said, "Princess Wanning, you must have recognized the wrong person." "Recognized the wrong person?" Princess Wanning looked at Yang Zio-Ocean with suspicion and shook her head. "No, we must have met somewhere before." Dong Huangxiu could not help but look at her good sister in silence. Usually, her good sister was very arrogant, but she liked this. She walked forward and smiled to Yang Zio-Ocean. "I didn't expect that the mansion of the gods was bought by Mr. Yang. Wanning and I have never seen what the mansion of the gods looks like. I want to go in and take a look. I wonder if Mr. Yang agrees?" Yang Zio-Ocean smiled and said, "You two beauties want to visit the mansion of the gods. You are welcome to do so anytime." Then, Bailey also came forward and said that she also wanted to go in and take a look. So, Yang Zio-Ocean was surrounded by several beauties again. Several people chirped around Yang Zio-Ocean like birds, attracting the attention of all the disciples. Zenkai and Qian stood in the distance, as quiet as a flower. However, she occasionally looked at Yang Zio-Ocean with a curious look. What secrets did Yang Zio-Ocean have that he could condense the 12 sword hearts in 2 divine golden pills? He also subdued the world's #1 strange fire. He also bought the mansion of the gods. You know, although her father was the head of the Zheng family, it was not easy for her to buy the mansion of the gods. She always felt that Yang Zio-Ocean was full of mystery. Zebu and Zio-Han, the evil sword, were even more jealous when they saw Yang Zio-Ocean surrounded by Bailey, Wanning, and Dong Huangxiu. Zebu couldn't help but be jealous and was about to step forward. Suddenly, Zhaoming, a disciple of Chenjing, came over and said to Yang Zio-Ocean, "Zio-Ocean, my master is looking for you. He has something to tell you." Hearing this, Yang Zio-Ocean felt relieved and quickly got out of Bailey, Wanning, and Dong Huangxiu and left with Zhaoming. Zenkai and Qian saw Yang Zio-Ocean's sweaty face when he left and couldn't help but burst into laughter like 1,000 flowers blooming. Chenjing went to see Yang Zio-Ocean. Actually, there was nothing important. He just told Yang Zio-Ocean to be careful and safe during the trial. Then he gave Yang Zio-Ocean a piece of armor and said, "I made this armor carefully. You wear it." Looking at the armor, Chenjing's disciple Zhaoming was envious. This armor was the most precious one of his master. Usually, he, as a disciple, was not allowed to touch it. Yang Xiaoshan looked at the armor in front of him, and his heart was warm. He smiled at Chen Jing and said, "Thank you, Dean, but I already have a better armor." "You have a better armor?" Chen Jing was stunned. Yang Xiaoshan nodded. The armor he got from the Lord of the Abyss was much better than Chen Jing's god level armor. However, Yang Xiaoshan explained, "I have a subordinate who is the chief of the dwarf tribe. He made me a piece of armor." He couldn't say that he got the armor from the Lord of the Abyss. Even so, Chen Jing was still stunned. You know, the dwarves are famous for their bad tempers. It is difficult for masters from other tribes to approach the dwarves. Unexpectedly, they were conquered by Yang Xiaoshan. Since the chief of the dwarves has joined Yang Xiaoshan, it means that the entire dwarves are now Yang Xiaoshan's subordinates. How many weapons and armors does Yang Xiaoshan want in the future? Chen Jing smiled at Yang Xiaoshan and said, "It seems that I can't give this armor away, even if I want to." Then he leaned closer to Yang Xiaoshan and said, "Xiaoshan, I have a sword and want to reforge it, but I lack the skills. What do you think?" Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, "If the dean needs it, I will ask Manfang to help you after the trial. After all, the other party has given him so many waste dregs of magic medicine. Besides, this is just a small matter." Chen Jing heard this and said happily, "Okay, I will go to your house after the trial." There was no trouble along the way. The spaceship has a lot of space. There are many courtyards and independent rooms. Yang Xiaoshan was given special care and was arranged with a large courtyard. After devouring the pile of waste dregs of divine medicine given by Chen Jing, the tree of life produced the fruit of life as expected, and it was just enough to make the fruit of life mature. Yang Xiaoshan was delighted, swallowed the fruit of life, and began to practice in the yard. When the spaceship was about to reach the Death Sword Tomb, he finally completely refined the fruit of life. His ki and blood surged again, and his cultivation level also broke through to the third level of the Venerable Realm as expected. One more fruit is missing. Yang Xiaoshan said secretly. As long as there is one more fruit of life, his ki and blood will reach 20,000 miles. At that time, he can make a concerted effort to open up 365 acupoints at once, and then attract the rain from the sky. We are almost at the Death Sword Tomb. Everyone should be prepared. Li Bi's voice suddenly spread to all corners of the spaceship, and all of a sudden, all the disciples rushed out from the secret room in the yard. Yang Xiaoshan stood at the bow and looked, only to see the sky ahead, a piece of black waves rolling, covering the sky and the sun. Their spaceship was still sunny, but at the end of the sky, there was no light at all. A terrifying and numbing sound of strange cries came from all directions. This sound alone was enough to chill one's soul. Something was faintly floating in the rolling black waves. It's billions of ghosts and spirits. Seeing the rolling black waves coming, many disciples of the academy changed their faces. Even core disciples such as Bailey, Zenkai and Qian, and Wanning tightly grasped their swords as they watched the billions of ghosts and spirits rolling in like black waves, their palms sweating with nervousness. Everyone's heart was beating in their throats. Yang Xiaoshan also stared at the ghosts and spirits rolling in front of him. There were even more of them than the undead army at the beginning, and the ghost energy gathered together was too terrifying, like a vast ocean. If the few people in their academy rushed over directly, they would probably be swallowed up in an instant. Yang Xiaoshan immediately summoned the flame of the earth and the 9 phoenix golden flame. Suddenly, the spaceship was as blazing as the sun. Everyone couldn't help but look at it sideways. 9 phoenix golden flame. Everyone was surprised to see that Yang Xiaoshan had also subdued the 9 phoenix golden flame, one of the 10 strange fires. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 405 Lord Kang Xiang is here. Zibuhu, the evil sword, and Xiao Han, the devil sword, looked at the flames of the earth and the 9 phoenixes on Yang Xiaoshan, and their faces darkened. Bailey and the others had beautiful eyes. Zenkai and Qian was also surprised. Then, Tang Huan, the Buddha's son, also summoned the flames of space and the flames of the sea. Seeing Tang Huan's flames of space and the flames of the sea, everyone looked at him sideways. Seeing this, other disciples who had strange fires also hurriedly summoned their strange fires. The flame power of the strange fires gathered together, like a volcano exploding, with waves of fire rolling and swallowing the world. The disciples summoned their own weapons one after another. Almost everyone used swords, and a few disciples used knives, spears, and hammers. Yang Xiaoshan hesitated for a moment, and also summoned the Burial Heaven Sword and the Demon Slaying Sword. Burial Heaven Sword. Demon Slaying Sword. Seeing the Burial Heaven Sword and the Demon Slaying Sword in Yang Xiaoshan's hands, everyone was stunned. Oh my god. Many disciples kept shouting in their hearts. It's fine that Yang Xiaoshan has conquered the Flame of the Earth and the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame, but now he has conquered the Heaven Burial Sword, the first Heavenly Sword, and the Demon Slaying Sword, the second Heavenly Sword. He also has the 12 Sword Hearts and 2 Divine Golden Elixirs. How can other geniuses survive? Wanning, Yao Kingsu, Bailey and other girls were also shocked. At first, the Demon Slaying Sword was in the hands of Kaiyuan, the great elder of the Tatian sect. Later, the Tatian sect was destroyed by Yang Xiaoshan, and the Demon Slaying Sword fell into Yang Xiaoshan's hands. In fact, not only the Demon Slaying Sword, but also the Dark Sword in Lan Yu's hand after Yang Xiaoshan destroyed the Fulong Sword sect. Chen Jing was also amazed when he looked at the 2 swords in Yang Xiaoshan's hand. He smiled at Yang Xiaoshan and said, Xiaoshan, you can't have conquered our academy's Divine Shadow Sword, right? He knew that Yang Xiaoshan entered the sword pavilion yesterday. Everyone stared at Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and said, I went into the sword pavilion yesterday, but I didn't find the shadow sword. Zibuhu, Xiao Han and a group of talented disciples all breathed a sigh of relief when they heard this. It's good that they didn't find it. In fact, how could they know that Yang Xiaoshan didn't find the shadow sword, the third of the divine swords, but he had already conquered the 5 great divine swords, the Tangshan divine sword, the Kangshen sword, the ancient thunder god sword, the thousand Buddhas divine sword, and the Evernite divine sword. The Tangshan divine sword is the second ranked divine sword. At this time, the black waves of billions of ghosts that were just far away in the sky continued to swallow up the Kangshen Academy spaceship, and the shrill roars of billions of ghosts shocked everyone. Looking at the billions of ghosts that kept coming, Chen Jing shouted, everyone prepare for battle. Remember, no one is allowed to leave the spaceship later. After all, there are too many billions of ghosts. Once you leave the spaceship, without the protection of the spaceship's prohibitions, you will definitely die. And it's also convenient to escape inside the spaceship. The results of this battle will be recorded in the Academy's score list, and will be used as a reference for promotion to Kang Shenfu in the future. Everyone, work hard. Chen Jing shouted again. Hearing that the results of this battle will be used as a reference for promotion to Kang Shenfu, all the disciples were greatly excited. Boom. A big knife suddenly fell from the sky, rolling up heavy knife waves, like a tornado, and swept into the billions of ghosts and souls. Suddenly, countless ghosts and souls were strangled. Everyone looked in surprise, and saw a team of troops breaking through the air in the distance. It's the Kang Shenfu army. The people who came were the Kang Shenfu army. This time, billions of ghosts and souls appeared, and Kang Shenfu must send a large army to suppress them. Kang Shen Academy is here to assist the Kang Shenfu army. The Kang Shenfu army is still the main force. The Kang Shenfu army was led by a 3-meter tall middle-aged strong man. There was a scar on his forehead. Seeing the middle-aged man, the senior leaders of Kang Shen Academy were all surprised. Master Zhao Feng, the god of swords. Zhao Feng, the god of swords, was one of the 4 gods of Kang Shen Mansion, and was as famous as Zileng, the god of swords. Seeing that it was Zhao Feng, the god of swords, who personally led the army of Kang Shen Mansion, the senior leaders of Kang Shen Academy were all relieved. Kill. The cold voice of Zhao Feng, the god of swords, rang out, and the voice turned into rolling knife energy, plowing into the millions of ghosts and spirits. At the same time, the knife energy rolled by the big knife he controlled, became stronger and stronger, like a super tornado, constantly swirling in the tide of ghosts and spirits. Every time it swirled, it would inevitably strangle a large number of ghosts and spirits. The army of Kang Shen Mansion also swung out, and suddenly, the sword energy was like a mountain, crashing into the tide of ghosts, and countless ghosts were smashed to pieces. Kill. Seeing this, Chen Jing also shouted fiercely, not caring to greet the god of swords, and drove the spaceship towards the tide of ghosts. Before approaching the ghost wave, Yang Xiaoshan swung out the heaven burial sword and the demon slaying sword in his hands, and suddenly, thousands of sword ki burst out. Tomb of heaven burial. Light of demon slaying. Wherever the heaven burial sword ki and the demon slaying sword ki passed, the ghost wave was plowed into two large cracks. This strike killed hundreds of ghosts. With Yang Xiaoshan's martial arts master realm, being able to kill hundreds of ghosts with one strike was already terrifying combat power. Other disciples of the academy also took action. Suddenly, there was a loud killing sound. Billions of ghosts screamed. However, there were too many ghosts, and Chen Jing did not dare to drive the spacecraft too close. He only killed them at the edge. Once the ghosts approached, he drove the spacecraft back. The army of Kang Shenfu formed a formation, killing 3 times in and 3 times out, killing the ghosts and ghosts. The powerful combat power of the army of Kang Shenfu made the disciples of Kang Shen Academy excited. However, there were too many ghosts, and they could not be killed or slaughtered. Countless ghosts continued to pour out from the Death Sword Tomb, and the more they were killed, the more they appeared. The sky gradually darkened. Looking at the endless ghosts, Yang Xiaoshan frowned. If he continued to kill them, he might not be able to kill them all in another month. Unless he could solve the master of the underworld who controlled the ghosts. At this time, the surrounding empires also sent armies to join forces to kill the ghosts, but there was still no sign of a decrease in the number of ghosts. Dean, if this goes on, we will run out of our true essence and die in the hands of these ghosts sooner or later. An old ancestor said angrily, why don't we just kill our way into the Death Sword Tomb and kill the master of the underworld who controls the ghosts? Chen Jing shook his head and said, no matter who goes into the Death Sword Tomb, they will not be able to come out alive. The night became darker and darker. Blood dyed the earth red. As darkness enveloped the earth, Yang Xiaoshan found that the power of the ghosts and spirits had become much stronger. Before, he could kill hundreds of ghosts and spirits with one strike of 2 swords, but now, he could only kill 100 with one strike. Just as everyone was fighting bloody, suddenly, a deafening roar sounded, and the sound waves formed by the roar killed countless ghosts and spirits. The originally dense and endless army of ghosts had become much smaller. Everyone looked at it in shock, and a huge bear paw tore through the void and slapped down. Boom. The earth shook. Millions of ghosts were directly killed. The terrifying airwave swept across, and wherever it went, all the ghosts turned into ashes. A blue bear that supported the sky and the earth appeared in front of everyone. Lord Blue Bear is here. After a long battle, everyone was unable to defeat it, and finally, the blue bear appeared. Chapter 406, Kang Xiang is in trouble. Since ancient times, the Kang Bear has suppressed the Kang Shen continent for one era after another. With the Kang Bear, there will be no chaos in the Kang Shen continent. With the Kang Bear, no demons or monsters can cause chaos. The Kang Bear is a stabilizer of the Kang Shen continent. Seeing the appearance of the Kang Bear, and feeling the boundless power of the Kang Bear, the disciples of the Kang Shen Academy were excited. The surrounding imperial army knelt excitedly. The army of the Kang Shen Mansion was also excited when they saw the appearance of the Kang Bear. Even Chen Jing, Li Bi and other masters of the gods were in awe, worship, and excitement. The Kang Bear's eyes were cold, like the bear paw of the ancient sacred mountain, and it slapped down again. Bang! The earth trembled violently. I saw billions of ghosts turned into countless dust, and kept flying up. Under this blow, almost all of the billions of ghosts were shocked to death. Previously, no matter how hard everyone tried to kill, they could not see the entrance and exit of the Death Sword Tomb, because there were too many ghosts and spirits, which submerged the entrance and exit of the Death Sword Tomb. But now, under the attack of Kang Xiang, hundreds of millions of ghosts and spirits were killed, and the entrance and exit of the Death Sword Tomb finally appeared in front of everyone. Kang Xiang snorted coldly, and with another palm strike, he directly killed all the remaining ghosts and spirits. Everyone in Kangshen Academy was shocked. What a great power, 2 palm strikes, and killed hundreds of millions of ghosts and spirits. Everyone has a deep understanding of the horror of those ghosts and spirits. They are extremely difficult to kill. Everyone can't kill them all, but now, in the blink of an eye, they are wiped out. Lord Kang Xiang is invincible. After the shock, the armies of the major empires cheered, and some even shed tears of excitement. After Kang Xiang killed all the ghosts and spirits outside the Death Sword Tomb, he did not stop, and continued to kill into the Death Sword Tomb. Wherever he passed, all the ghosts and spirits were killed. It did not strike out, but with a jolt of divine power throughout its body, all the ghosts and spirits in the unknown number of miles were blown away. From time to time, the power of the Kang Xiang to destroy the world was heard from the Death Sword Tomb. Seeing the figure of the Kang Xiang standing tall and strong charging into the Death Sword Tomb, all the disciples of the Kangshen Academy were overwhelmed with emotion, and they were shocked for a long time. Master Kang Xiang has charged into the Death Sword Tomb, and he will definitely be able to kill the masters who manipulate the ghosts and spirits. Chen Jing said excitedly and happily as he watched the disappearing figure of the Kang Xiang. With Master Kang Xiang here, those masters of the Nethergate will surely die. Li Bi also smiled. Bailey, Zenkai and Qian and everyone else were hopeful. Only Yang Xiaoshan could not help but worry, because he knew the horror of the man in the Death Sword Tomb. And he always felt that the appearance of the ghost army this time was not that simple. The man in the Death Sword Tomb seemed to be trying to attract the Kang Xiang to come. If the other party dared to do this, I'm afraid he already had a way to deal with the Kang Xiang. Afterwards, Chen Jing led everyone from the Kangshen Academy to meet the sword god Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's eyes fell on Yang Xiaoshan, and his always serious and unsmiling face showed a smile. Are you Yang Xiaoshan? After Zilong returned, he was full of praise for you. Junior Yang Xiaoshan, meet Master Zhao Feng. Yang Xiaoshan clasped his fists and said respectfully. At this time, a young man beside Zhao Feng stepped forward and stared at Yang Xiaoshan with a fierce fighting spirit. Yang Xiaoshan, I want to fight with you. Zhao Feng grabbed him directly and threw him out, saying, Stinky boy, you are in the Emperor realm and you have the nerve to ask for a fight with others. He smiled at Yang Xiaoshan and said, this is my disciple, who is born to be aggressive. Then he said, little guy, are you interested in learning the sword? If you are interested, you can come to me anytime in the future. Hearing this, everyone looked at Yang Xiaoshan with envy. Zhao Feng is one of the strongest swordsmen in the Kangshan continent. It is such an honor to be taught the sword by Zhao Feng. Okay, thank you Master Zhao Feng. Yang Xiaoshan did not refuse and smiled. Zhao Feng said to Chen Jing and others, let's find a place nearby to camp and adjust our breathing, and wait for Lord Kang Xiang to return. Chen Jing nodded in response. So, the army of Kangshen Mansion and the people of Kangshen Academy camped on the distant mountain peaks, waiting for Kang Xiang to return. It was late at night. The earth was silent. At the beginning, the destructive power of Kang Xiang was still coming out from the Death Sword Tomb from time to time. But as time went by, the destructive power of Kang Xiang gradually disappeared. Chen Jing, Li Bi and the people of Kangshen Academy each meditated and adjusted their breathing. Yang Xiaoshan felt more and more uneasy. In the end, he decided to enter the Death Sword Tomb to find out. Kang Xiang is the pillar of the Kangshen continent, and nothing can happen to him. If something happens to Kang Xiang, the Kangshen continent will definitely be bloody. So, Yang Xiaoshan asked Uncle Ding to block his breath, and flew away from the camp without anyone noticing. When he came to the entrance of the Death Sword Tomb, he did not hesitate, and flashed into the Sword Tomb. He was familiar with the Death Sword Tomb. As soon as Yang Xiaoshan entered, he summoned the Thousand Buddhas Divine Fire and the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire. With the two divine fires protecting his body, he flew forward at high speed. He found that the green gas shrouding the Death Sword Tomb was thicker than last time, and it rolled and spread over the Death Sword Tomb, pressing people to the point of suffocation. Moreover, the cold wind of the Death Sword Tomb was stronger and fiercer than last time, like a cold windstorm, which made Yang Xiaoshan's clothes rustle. Yang Xiaoshan stretched out his whole body of true energy. Even so, Yang Xiaoshan still felt like he was about to be blown away. As he continued to move forward, the green gas above the sword tomb became thicker and thicker. Even though Yang Xiaoshan had been prepared, he still had an illusion like last time, and this time the illusion was stronger. Fortunately, Master Ding was there and woke him up. Yang Xiaoshan continued to fly forward at high speed. On the ground, there was a huge palm print left by the blue bear. Many tombs had been shaken into powder. It was a mess. As Yang Xiaoshan continued to go deeper, Yang Xiaoshan finally sensed the breath of the blue bear. However, Kang Xiang's aura was obviously disordered. In addition to Kang Xiang's aura, there were dozens of auras, each of which was extremely terrifying, and two of them were not much weaker than Kang Xiang. Kang Xiang was injured. Sensing Kang Xiang's disordered aura, Yang Xiaoshan's heart sank, and he sped up again. At this time, in the deepest part of the Death Sword Tomb, dozens of people were frantically attacking Kang Xiang. Among the two leading people, one was the undead god of death. The other one, wearing the robe of the hell god of Hades, had the same powerful aura as the undead god of death. He was Yanping, the son of the hell god of Hades. And Kang Xiang's body, which supported the sky and the earth, had been hit in several places. The places that were hit exuded a pale green yin qi and undead death qi. Yanping looked at the struggling Kang Xiang and sneered, "Old Xiang, you've been hit by my dark god's yin qi and the undead god's undead qi. You won't be able to hold on for much longer. Today, you will die." The undead god laughed and said, "I will kill you, and refine you into my undead spirit. Then, I will use you to slaughter billions of lives on the Kangshen continent." The Kangshen continent, that you wanted to protect, was slaughtered by your own hands in the end. Just think about how that feels. It feels great. It feels so great. Chapter 407, Immortal Death, we meet again. The undead god of death laughed wildly. His laughter was full of pride and bloodthirsty excitement. He felt extremely excited when he thought that Kang Xiang would help him slaughter billions of lives on Kangshen continent after his death. This was more exciting than killing Kang Xiang. Kang Xiang roared to the sky, and his claws suddenly slapped the son of Hades and the undead god of death. The violent divine power was like the nine heavens river, causing the son of Hades and the undead god of death to come crashing in. Seeing this, the son of Hades and the undead god of death both slapped their palms. The overwhelming power of Hades turned into billions of ghosts, and the undead death key turned into billions of undead spirits, colliding with the violent divine power of Kang Xiang. Boom. A loud noise that shook the sky. The power of destroying the world lifted up countless ancient and prehistoric tombs around. Even the sword buried in the tomb was shattered into countless pieces by the power of the three people. These swords were all ancient, prehistoric, and recent famous swords. They were as powerful as iron and mud, but now, under the power of the three, they were all shattered. The son of Hades and the immortal god of death were forced to retreat more than 100 meters. However, Kang Xiang was not feeling well either. His claws were numb from the shock, and he retreated again and again, retreating 100 meters straight. After the attack, Kang Xiang had a slight advantage, but it was only a slight advantage. The face of Yanping, the son of Hades, sank. Kang Xiang's strength was beyond his imagination. He was still so strong, after being hit by his palm of Hades and the palm of immortality. Fortunately, he was well prepared. The Death Sword Tomb was full of soul-stirring ghost energy. The longer Kang Xiang stayed, the stronger he would be eroded by the ghost energy. At that time, he would have illusions, and that would be the time when Kang Xiang died. Just as Kang Xiang was repelling the son of Hades and the immortal god of death with a palm, suddenly, a terrifying palm force broke through the air and hit Kang Xiang's back. Without time to think, Kang Xiang attacked with his palm. There was a loud bang. The middle-aged man who attacked with his palm was shocked by Kang Xiang and retreated again and again. Corpse Demon, if you continue to be an accomplice to the tiger, I will wipe out your Corpse Demon sect. Kang Xiang roared. The middle-aged man who attacked him with his palm was the Corpse Demon. More than 100,000 years ago, three supreme geniuses and strong men with extraordinary talents appeared in Kangshen continent. One was the Lord of the Gods, one was the undead evil lord, and the other was the Corpse Demon in front of him. Even though many extremely amazing strong men emerged in Kangshen continent 100,000 years ago, the Corpse Demon, the undead evil lord and the Lord of the Gods were the most amazing. The corpse demon can be as famous as the undead evil lord and the lord of the gods, so you can imagine how strong it is. 100,000 years ago, after the lord of the gods disappeared, the corpse demon also disappeared. In the past 100,000 years, the corpse demon has not appeared again. Everyone thought that the corpse demon was dead, but now not only is he not dead, but he has joined forces with the son of the underworld god and the immortal god of death, to surround and kill Kang Xiang. The corpse demon sneered when he heard this. Kang Xiang, do you think you still have a chance to escape from the Death Sword tomb? If I kill you and devour your flesh and blood, I will be able to practice my corpse demon magic to the peak. Dozens of other masters also took action, blasting Kang Xiang back again and again. Although these dozens of masters are not as powerful as the corpse demon, they are also the supreme ancestors and peerless demons of the underworld. Each of them is unfathomable. It is precisely because of this that Kang Xiang has never been able to escape. Otherwise, the son of the underworld god, the immortal god of death and the corpse demon alone cannot surround him. Under the siege of dozens of sons of the underworld god, Kang Xiang absorbed more and more soul-stirring ghost energy, and even though his soul was extremely strong, he gradually became unable to support it. Moreover, he was hit by the palm power of the son of Hades and the undead god of death, and was constantly eroded by the ghost energy of Hades and the undead god of death. The more he used his divine power, the more his injuries worsened. The son of Hades saw the fatigue of Kang Xiang and roared, "Everyone, work harder and kill Kang Xiang at full speed." The corpse demon and others immediately exerted their divine power to the fullest, and attacked Kang Xiang more frantically. They also knew that, as long as they killed Kang Xiang with all their strength, the overall situation would be settled. Otherwise, the night would be long and dreams would be many. If the Kang Shenfu army outside discovered the abnormality, it would be a lot of trouble. Under the full siege of the son of Hades, the undead god of death and others, Kang Xiang was hit on the back by the undead god of death, and spit out a large mouthful of blood. Kang Xiang was furious, but he could do nothing. Half a year ago, the undead god of death was obviously severely injured by the mysterious man, but now his injuries have not only healed, but have improved. These days, the undead god of death must have obtained the natural treasures to recover from his injuries. Otherwise, his injuries could not have recovered so quickly. Kang Xiang guessed correctly. The immortal death god obtained a natural treasure similar to the life fruit in the eternal burial ground. That was why his injuries healed so quickly. Seeing that Kang Xiang was hit by his palm again from behind, the immortal death god laughed triumphantly. "Old man Xiang, don't struggle in vain. Don't think that Zheng Yang Jiang and Zilong will come to save you. Let me tell you, Zheng Yang Jiang, Zilong and others are now in trouble." Kang Xiang's face changed when he heard it. The son of the Hades, the immortal death god led him here, not only to kill him, but also to destroy the Kang Shen mansion. Kang Shen is now also besieged by the Hades Gate, the corpse demon sect and other super sects, and they have to rescue the body of the undefeated Hades god. If the body of the undefeated Hades god is rescued, and the undefeated Hades god is resurrected, then the Kang Shen continent will be doomed. Kang Xiang couldn't help but despair. Is he really going to die here today? Old Xiang, you are too conceited, otherwise, you would not die. Yang Ping, the son of Hades, laughed. If Kang Xiang was not conceited, and broke into the Death Sword tomb, they really could not kill Kang Xiang outside. Just when the immortal death god, the son of Hades, Yan Ping, was about to strike a devastating blow to Kang Xiang again, suddenly, there was a sound of breaking through the air in the distance. Everyone was surprised to see someone coming in. You know, the Death Sword tomb is shrouded in a ghostly aura, and it is not easy to come here. Everyone looked over. They saw that the person who came was a 14 or 15-year-old boy wearing a blue brocade robe. Seeing that the person who came was a boy, everyone was stunned. When the immortal death god saw the person clearly, his whole body seemed to be bombarded by the nine heavens thunder, and his face changed drastically. "It's you." He will never forget the destructive blow in the eternal heaven tomb. These days, Yang Xiaoshan's face and the extremely terrifying medicine cauldron are simply his nightmares. Since he escaped from the eternal heaven tomb last time, sometimes when he went out, he would even look around, worried that he would run into that young man. Everyone was stunned when they heard the exclamation and drastic change in the face of the immortal god of death. The immortal god of death seemed to be very afraid of this young man. The immortal god of death, a dignified ancient god, was actually afraid of a young man. Yang Ping, the son of the god of Hades, was also surprised and puzzled. He didn't understand why the immortal god of death was so scared after seeing this young man. For a moment, everyone stopped attacking. Kang Xiang was also able to catch his breath. Yang Xiaoshan frowned as he looked at the dozens of people besieging Kang Xiang. His eyes fell on the immortal god of death, and he grinned. Immortal god of death, I didn't expect that we would meet again so soon. Chapter 408 How lucky our Kangshan continent is. The immortal death god's face twitched when he heard Yang Xiaoshan's friendly greeting. He took a deep breath, suppressed the fear in his heart, and shouted fiercely, "Boy, you came at the right time. I was just about to go find you. Since you are here, the Death Sword Tomb will be your burial place today." At this point, he stretched out his whole body of immortal death energy, layer after layer, forming an immortal barrier. The son of the Hades, Yang Ping, saw that the immortal death god's immortal death energy stretched out with all his strength, and even condensed an immortal barrier, and couldn't help frowning. Who is this boy? He actually made the immortal death god so timid that he even used the immortal barrier. You know, when they were fighting with the blue bear just now, the immortal death god had never used the immortal barrier. Now when he saw the boy, he used the immortal barrier. Really? Yang Xiaoshan's face was calm, and he walked towards the immortal death god and others. Yang Xiaoshan did not hide his aura, and his martial honor was revealed. However, the undead god of death swallowed his throat and never dared to attack. The son of the Hades, Yang Ping, the corpse demon and others saw that the undead god of death did not attack, and they were confused for a while, and no one dared to take the lead. Suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan's whole body was surging with light, and he shouted, "Master Ding." The shout shook the sky. Hearing Yang Xiaoshan calling Master Ding, the undead god of death's face changed wildly, and instantly turned into a dead air, tearing through the void, and even knocking open countless tombs, and directly fled without a trace. In an instant, the undead god of death disappeared in front of everyone. Only a string of undead death key was left. Everyone was stunned. What was going on? The undead god of death actually escaped. This young man's words Master Ding actually scared the undead god of death away. Everyone couldn't believe it. Even Kang Xiang was stunned. He didn't understand what was going on. Even if the undead god of death faced him alone, he was not scared to the point of running away. Is this young man's Ding Yi more terrifying than himself? Who is Ding Yi? There seems to be no such person in Kangshan continent. Seeing the immortal death god escape, the son of the Hades, Yang Ping, the corpse demon and others were even more surprised and suspicious. They all stared at Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan felt relieved when he saw the immortal death god escape. After all, he didn't have much 9 heaven tribulation thunder water on him now. Only 7 were left. Yang Xiaoshan continued to walk towards the son of the Hades, Yang Ping, the corpse demon and others. You must be very curious about why the immortal death god escaped. At this point, Yang Xiaoshan's whole body was surging with black light, and the boundless dark power roared out. In the shocked eyes of everyone, an extremely huge black dragon flew out of Yang Xiaoshan's body. When the black dragon appeared, the terrifying dragon power swept across the world. And around the black dragon's body, a golden red soul ring that they had never seen before appeared. In the golden red soul ring, a nearly boundless dark shadow loomed. When the shadow of darkness stared at everyone, the lake-like blood-red eyes shocked Yang Ping, corpse demon and even Kang Xiang. Yang Ping, the son of the Hades god, was horrified. Lord of the Abyss. It's the soul ring of the Lord of the Abyss. Corpse demon and others were even more trembling. The soul ring of this young man turned out to be the soul ring of the Lord of the Abyss. You killed the Lord of the Abyss. Kang Xiang was also shocked. Before, he suspected that the Lord of the Abyss was killed. The Lord of the Abyss actually died in the hands of the young man in front of him. That was the Lord of the Abyss, a soul beast of nearly 2 million years. Kang Xiang is invincible, and the undead god of death is invincible, but all the gods in Kangshan continent know that the only one who is truly invincible is the one in the abyss. Now the one in the abyss actually died in the hands of this young man. Master Ding. Suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan roared to the sky. In an instant, a surge of golden light rushed into the sky from Yang Xiaoshan's body. Everyone saw that a dazzling and huge golden tripod flew out. This golden tripod is bigger than the Lord of the Abyss and bigger than Kang Xiang. The golden tripod burned with boundless golden flames and blasted towards the son of Hades. Feeling the terrifying and boundless power of the golden tripod, the son of Hades was horrified, and the power of Hades was crazily supported, and the blade of Hades in his hand slashed wildly. "Open it for me," he roared. Clang! The power of Hades' blade to destroy the world blasted on the golden tripod. Light burst out, but it was useless. The golden tripod did not slow down and instantly blasted the son of Hades. Boom. The place where the son of Hades stood was blasted into a terrifying huge pit, and the son of Hades was blasted away. Wherever he passed, all forests, tombs, and mountains were destroyed. The sword tomb was like a huge explosion, and dust filled the sky. The son of Hades finally fell to the end of the sword tomb. He spurted out a mouthful of blood, followed by a second mouthful, and a third mouthful. He looked at the golden tripod in horror. Now he finally understood why the immortal death god was so scared when he heard the word ding yi. Ding yi, it turns out to be a fucking ding. The corpse demon and other masters looked at the golden tripod burning with golden flames in the sky, and they were so scared that their hands and feet were stiff. Go. The son of the Hades roared and turned into a dark light and flew away. The corpse demon and other masters dared not stay any longer, and their divine powers were madly activated, and they each chose a way to escape. Two of them even collided with each other, but after the two were knocked down, they ran away again. For a moment, the son of the Hades, the corpse demon and dozens of peerless overlords escaped without a single one left. Yang Xiaoshan saw the son of the Hades and others fleeing in panic, and did not chase them, but came to Kang Xiang. "Senior Kang Xiang, are you okay?" Kang Xiang heard Yang Xiaoshan call him senior, but he trembled and shook his hand and said, "Young master, just call me Kang Xiang." Yang Xiaoshan saw Kang Xiang's wound, took out a mouthful of sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water, and gave it to him to swallow. Although he didn't have much ninefold heavenly tribulation thunder water, he had a lot of sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water. He had obtained a large pool of sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water in the ancient thunder god cave mansion. Kang Xiang saw Yang Xiaoshan take out a large mouthful of sixth heaven tribulation thunder water for him. Although he was surprised, he swallowed it without hesitation. Suddenly, his whole body was flashing with lightning, and the wounds on his body gradually recovered. "Thank you, Master and Master Ding, for your help." Kang Xiang clasped his fists to Yang Xiaoshan and the golden tripod. At this time, he had turned into a human form. "Senior Kang Xiang is too polite. Since you are fine, I will go back first." Yang Xiaoshan clasped his fists and left. Kang Xiang saw Yang Xiaoshan was about to leave, and said anxiously, "I wonder if I can see you again in the future?" Yang Xiaoshan pondered and said, "I will go to Kangshen Mansion in the future. With his current cultivation speed, he will be able to break through the realm of the Great Emperor in less than 2 years, and then he will definitely be promoted to Kangshen Mansion. Therefore, it won't be long before the two can meet again." Hearing this, Kang Xiang was overjoyed and said, "Kang Xiang will be waiting for you, Master and Master Ding." Yang Xiaoshan did not stop, and his speed did not slow down, and soon disappeared into the sky. Kang Xiang looked at Yang Xiaoshan's departing figure, and said excitedly and gratified, "How fortunate our Kangshen continent is to have this boy to protect us." Then he looked up at the sky, and said to the void, "Sir, did you see it?" As if hearing Kang Xiang's words, the heart of Kangshen and the Kangshen cave emitted bursts of light. Chapter 409. Hurry back to Kangshen Mansion. The heart of the Kang god radiated bursts of light. Kang Xiang did not know that, after swallowing Yang Xiaoshan's sixth heavenly tribulation thunder water, his injuries were temporarily suppressed. Thinking that the Kang god palace was now under attack from the Dark Gate and the Corpse Demon sect, Kang Xiang was anxious and angry, and quickly flew away from the Death Sword Tomb. Just as the sword god Zhao Feng and the Kang god palace army were sitting cross-legged and meditating, suddenly, Kang Xiang's anxious voice rang out, "Kangshen Palace Army, hurry back to Kangshen Palace." Kang Xiang's voice shook the world. Sword god Zhao Feng was stunned. Then he saw Kang Xiang rushing out of the Death Sword tomb, turning into a ray of light and flying rapidly towards the Kang God Palace. Kang Shen Palace army, listen to my order. Hurry back to Kang Shen Palace. Sword God Zhao Feng did not hesitate any longer and roared. After speaking, he broke through the air and followed Kang Xiang. The Kang Shen Palace army also broke through the air and followed closely. Chen Jing, Li Bi and others had already been alarmed. Is there anything wrong with Kang Shen Mansion? Li Bi was in doubt. Otherwise, why would Lord Kang Xiang be so anxious to rush back to Kang Shen Mansion? Dean, should we follow along? A great elder asked Chen Jing. Chen Jing thought about it and finally shook his head and said, Lord Kang Xiang's order is to let the army of Kang Shen Mansion rush back. Then he said to Li Bi, since the matter here is over, count the number of disciples, and we will go back to Kang Shen Academy first. Soon, the head count was completed. What did you say? Xiaoshan is missing. Chen Jing got the reply, and his heart skipped a beat. He glared at the elder in charge of the new students. Xiaoshan was still here last night. How could he be missing? Li Bi and the other ancestors also changed their faces. Yang Xiaoshan is now the treasure of their Kang Shen Academy, so don't let anything unexpected happen to him. When Linmia, Yao Kingsu and other girls heard that Yang Xiaoshan was missing, they were all worried. When Zibuhu and Xiaohan heard that Yang Xiaoshan was missing, they were secretly happy in their hearts. This place is close to the Death Sword tomb, and there may be some remaining ghosts and spirits. Yang Xiaoshan's disappearance may have been caused by an accident. Tang Huan, the Buddha's disciple, was relieved when he heard that Yang Xiaoshan was missing. He also hoped that Yang Xiaoshan would not appear again. Just when Zibuhu, Xiaohan and others were secretly happy, suddenly, a figure flew over from a distance. Yang Xiaoshan. A disciple shouted in surprise. Everyone looked over, and it was Yang Xiaoshan. Linmia, Yao Kingsu and other girls saw that it was Yang Xiaoshan, and their pretty faces lit up. Anxious Chen Jing and Li Bi were relieved to see Yang Xiaoshan coming back. Chen Jing and others all went to meet him. I just went out for a walk to see if there were any remaining ghosts and spirits, and I'm sorry to have worried the dean and everyone. Yang Xiaoshan said quickly. Chen Jing saw Yang Xiaoshan coming back, so he didn't want to blame him. He smiled and said, it's good that he came back safely. Then he said to everyone, since Xiaoshan is back, let's go back to the academy first. Afterwards, everyone from Kang Shen Academy began to return to the academy along the same route. On the spaceship, Chen Jing asked all the disciples to take out their ID cards and began to count the number of ghosts and spirits killed by everyone this time. He started with the core disciples. Zhan Xiaoyao killed a total of 112,300 ghosts and spirits. Li Bi read out while checking everyone's ID cards. Zhan Xiaoyao was Zhan Jian, one of the four swords. He was also the young master of the Zhan family. He was also the leader of all the disciples in Kang Shen Academy. Zibu, who killed a total of 105,240 ghosts and spirits. Xiaohan killed a total of 105,360 ghosts and spirits. Soon, the results of the four swords and four beauties were counted. The number of ghosts and spirits killed by the 8 people was more than 100,000. Next, it was the other core disciples and old disciples. Finally, it was the new disciples. There is still a gap between the strength of new disciples and other disciples. Generally, the number of ghosts and spirits killed is less than 10,000. Only a few people, such as Fan Wufang and Tang Huan, the son of Tathagata Buddha, killed more than 20,000. When it was Yang Xiaoshan's turn, Li Bi looked strange and read. Yang Xiaoshan killed a total of 234,320 ghosts and spirits. What? As soon as Li Bi said this, everyone looked at Yang Xiaoshan in disbelief. Zibuhu and Xiaohan were even more unconvinced. They didn't believe that Yang Xiaoshan, a new disciple, actually killed more than 230,000 ghosts and spirits. Because the spaceship was very large, everyone stood in different positions to attack, and there were too many ghosts and spirits, so no one had the mind to pay attention to the disciples killing ghosts and spirits. Therefore, Chen Jing was also surprised that Yang Xiaoshan killed more than 230,000 ghosts and spirits. You know, Jianzhao, the leader of all the disciples in Kangshen Academy, was at the peak of the 10th level of the Venerable Realm, and he only killed more than 110,000. I only killed more than 100,000. Yang Ocean, you are a new disciple. It is impossible to kill more than 230,000. Zebu said immediately. Yes, even Jianzhao only killed more than 110,000. Can you kill more than 230,000? Zhao Han also said in a deep voice. Chenjing said, every time a ghost is killed, the ID card will record it. It is impossible to be fake. Zebu stared at Yang Ocean. Yang Ocean, unless you can defeat me, otherwise, we will not believe it. Yang Ocean said calmly, I don't care whether you believe it or not. Zebu and Zhao Han were stunned. Lin Mir and Yao Kingsu blushed. Many brave female disciples glanced at Yang Ocean's lower body. Princess Wanning and Bailey couldn't help but laugh. Hearing Wanning and Bailey's laughter, Zebu and Zhao Han looked unhappy. But don't worry, there will be a college competition at the end of the year, right? I will participate then. Yang Ocean said to Zebu. Kangshen College holds a college competition at the end of every year. However, the college competition is for core disciples to participate. If other disciples feel that they are strong enough, they can also sign up. And the results of the college competition will also be one of the important criteria for promotion to Kangshenfu. Yang Ocean doesn't care about the results of the competition. He participated in the college competition, mainly to hone his strength with 4 swords. Hearing Yang Ocean say that he will participate in the college competition at the end of the year, Zebu grinned. Okay, then I hope to fight with junior brother Yang and learn about junior brother Yang's 2 divine golden pills and 12 sword hearts. Jianzhao and the crowd also had a strange look in his eyes when he heard Yang Ocean say that he would participate in the college competition at the end of the year. He had long wanted to learn about Yang Ocean's 2 divine golden pills and 12 sword hearts. However, he was the leader of all the disciples and was embarrassed to ask Yang Ocean to fight. Since Yang Ocean participated in the college competition, it would be the best. Chenjing frowned when he heard that a new disciple named Yang Ocean was going to participate in the college competition at the end of the year. Yang Ocean had 2 divine golden elixirs and 12 sword hearts, but his realm was too low after all. There was still a gap compared to those core disciples who were at the 10th level of the Venerable Realm. In his opinion, no matter how strong Yang Ocean was, he could not be the opponent of those core disciples. However, since Yang Ocean wanted to participate, he could not persuade him. After all, it was a personal freedom. Chapter 410, Impacting the Acupoints. On the way back, Yang Ocean still stayed at home and practiced in seclusion on the boat. However, just as everyone was rushing back to Kangshen Academy, shocking news came from Kangshen Mansion. Dozens of evil sects from the Nether Gate and the Corpse Demon sect surrounded Kangshen Mansion. The blood flowed like a river in Kangshen Mansion, and the sky was dark. Fortunately, Kang Xiang and the army of Kangshen Mansion finally rushed back, and the body of the undefeated Nether God was not rescued. Despite this, the army of Kangshen Mansion still suffered heavy losses. Of course, those evil sects were not doing well either. When Kang Xiang came back, they were defeated and pissed off. After returning to Kangshen Academy, Yang Ocean began to look for the Divine Shadow Sword. As soon as he came back, he always felt that he could cultivate to 15 invincible sword hearts. But on the first day after returning, he searched all the mountains around the sword pavilion, but still did not find any trace of the Divine Shadow Sword. However, he did not get discouraged and continued to look for it the next day. In the following days, he practiced at night and searched for the Divine Shadow Sword during the day. He believed that, as long as he searched all over Kangshen Academy, he would be able to find the Divine Shadow Sword. But Kangshen Academy is too big as an empire. It would take more than a day or 2 to search through Kangshen Academy. On the 3rd day of his search for the Divine Shadow Sword, Sword God Zilan asked his disciple Liu Ziyuan to send a pile of waste slag of divine medicine. What surprised Yang Ocean was that the pile of waste slag of divine medicine sent by Zilan was a lot. 3 times the pile he had before. 3 times. It was enough for the life god tree to produce 3 life god fruits. So when Sword God Zilong's disciple Liu Ziyuan went back, Yang Xiaoshan was very grateful and sent him 30 drops of 6th heaven tribulation thunder water. After Liu Ziyuan left, Yang Xiaoshan immediately swallowed and absorbed all the waste slag of divine medicine into the life god tree. Next, he just had to wait for 3 days for the 3 life god fruits to mature. During this period, Chen Jing went to the mansion of the gods to visit the dwarf clan leader Manfang and ask Manfang to help him reforge the long sword, and Bailey, Deng Huangxiu, and Wan Ning also visited his mansion of the gods. Deng Huangxiu even teased Yang Xiaoshan, saying that he wanted to rent a palace in the god's residence, and asked Yang Xiaoshan how much it would cost per year. Seeing this, Bailey, the 9-fox princess, also said that she wanted to rent one. Yang Xiaoshan had too many secrets, so it would be inconvenient for the 2 women to move in. So Yang Xiaoshan politely declined the 2 women. On this day, Yang Xiaoshan continued to wander around Kangshen Academy, looking for the divine shadow sword. Just when he came to a certain lake, suddenly, the 14 sword hearts in his body vibrated. After a start, Yang Xiaoshan was full of surprise and flew over the lake. When he came over the lake, the 14 sword hearts in his body vibrated more and more violently. Yang Xiaoshan stared at the bottom of the lake, without hesitation, broke through the surface of the lake, and entered the bottom of the lake. When he came to the bottom of the lake, the 14 sword hearts vibrated even more. However, he scanned the bottom of the lake and there was nothing. With the induction of the 14 sword hearts, Yang Xiaoshan moved forward step by step. Finally, he came to a corner of the bottom of the lake, stretched out his hand, and grasped the void, and saw that there was nothing in front of him, and suddenly a sword appeared. A sword that was almost transparent in the water. It was a divine shadow sword. Yang Xiaoshan grasped the hilt of the sword, and the divine shadow sword's blade glowed with light, and a terrifying sword energy burst out, trying to knock Yang Xiaoshan away. However, Yang Xiaoshan would never let the divine shadow sword escape again. He used the power of the 14 sword hearts to fully activate, and wrapped the divine shadow sword. He was covered with sword armor. The sword energy of the divine shadow sword shot at it, and the fire burst out, but it could not break Yang Xiaoshan's sword armor. Yang Xiaoshan held the divine shadow sword tightly, and continued to suppress it with the power of the 14 sword hearts. Finally, under the suppression of the power of the 14 sword hearts, the originally violent divine shadow sword gradually calmed down. Finally, it let Yang Xiaoshan hold it. Yang Xiaoshan immediately used the blood refining method to cut his fingers and refine the divine shadow sword. Soon, he felt that he was connected to the divine shadow sword by blood. At this moment, the divine shadow sword was finally subdued. Looking at the almost transparent divine shadow sword in his hand, Yang Xiaoshan was happy. It was worth his days of searching, and he finally conquered the divine shadow sword. Fortunately, he had the 14 sword hearts, otherwise, it would be really difficult to find the divine shadow sword. Yang Xiaoshan broke through the lake surface and came out from the bottom of the lake. In the sunlight, the divine shadow sword in his hand became transparent. Yang Xiaoshan was clearly holding the divine shadow sword, but others could not see it. Only Yang Xiaoshan could sense the existence of the divine shadow sword. This divine shadow sword, combined with his black dragon martial soul's innate soul skill space concealment, simply complemented each other. Yang Xiaoshan put away the divine shadow sword, returned to the mountain, and began to comprehend the divine shadow sword Dao. One day later, the 3 life god fruits finally matured. Yang Xiaoshan stopped practicing swordsmanship, swallowed the next life god fruit immediately, and began to impact the acupoints. Time passed. Yang Xiaoshan's whole body ki and blood became stronger and stronger. The ki and blood that was originally close to 17,000 miles soon broke through to 17,000 miles. Then, it approached 18,000, 19,000. Gradually approaching 20,000 miles in radius. Finally, Yang Xiaoshan's whole body of ki and blood reached a terrifying 20,000 li radius. At this time, a certain mountain in the core disciple area suddenly burst into light, and amazing forces of heaven and earth gathered towards the mountain. The amazing forces of heaven and earth alarmed the senior leaders and disciples of Kangshen Academy. It's senior brother Buhu's mountain. He opened up 120 acupoints in one fell swoop and attracted the power of heaven and earth to temper his body. What? Opened up 120 acupoints in one fell swoop? This is too evil. Senior brother Buhu is worthy of being the Four Swords. All the disciples were shocked. Chenjing was overjoyed when he saw Zibuhu open up 120 acupoints in one fell swoop and attracted the power of heaven and earth to temper his body. Great. Another unparalleled genius has appeared in my Kangshen Academy. Since the founding of Kangshen Academy in ancient times, countless geniuses have emerged, but there are only a few who can open up 120 acupoints in one fell swoop. Now among the disciples of the entire academy, only Junjian and Junzioyao have opened up 120 acupoints in one fell swoop. From today on, there will be another Zibuhu. A few hours later, Zibuhu finally completely refined the power of heaven and earth. Congratulations, senior brother Buhu. When Zibuhu came out of the palace, the core disciples came forward to congratulate him. Senior brother Buhu has now opened up 399 acupoints, more than Junzioyao. In the end of year college competition, senior brother Buhu will definitely be the first. In the Kangshen continent, those who can open up 365 acupoints and reach the number of the great circulation are all monsters among monsters, and Zibuhu had already opened up 279 acupoints before, plus the 120 today, that's 399. In the martial honor realm, being able to open up 399 acupoints is absolutely rare in the world. Listening to the flattery of the core disciples, Zibuhu nodded, and his face could not hide his pride. Just when Zibuhu was proud and high-spirited, suddenly, the world shook, and golden light pillars rose from the Yangtze Ocean peak, and went straight into the sky. These golden light pillars, no more, no less, a total of 365. The sky seemed to be blasted with 365 holes. As everyone was stunned, Yang Xiaoxio's blood was like a raging sea of blood, covering the sky and the sun, sweeping across the world, and submerging the peaks of Kangshen Academy one after another. Chapter 411 Immortal Body. Yang Xiaoxio's ki and blood flooded all the peaks of the inner disciples, and then flooded the peaks of the core disciples. At this moment, the sky above Kangshen Academy seemed to be shrouded in an extremely hot red sea. Everyone was shocked. This, how can Yang Xiaoxio's ki and blood be so terrifying? 20,000 miles in radius. This is 20,000 miles in radius. Even many emperors in Kangshen Mansion don't have such terrifying ki and blood. Whether it was Zibuhu, Junzioyao, or the 9-Fox Princess Bailey, they were all shocked. They had never thought that the ki and blood of Martial Master could be so terrifying. Chenjing, Libi and other senior officials of Kangshen Academy were also extremely shocked. What shocked Chenjing even more was that the 365 golden lights at this time reminded him of a legend, an ancient legend. I saw 365 golden light pillars, like 365 stars, began to rotate above the 9 heavens, forming an innate formation diagram. As they rotated, the sky actually dropped a little golden light. These little golden lights, like golden rain, kept falling. When the golden rain fell, everyone in Kangshen Academy smelled a strange fragrance. This fragrance was more fragrant than the divine elixir, and more pleasant than the divine spiritual medicine, making people intoxicated. This seemed to be the best fragrance in the world. The golden rain was refracted by the sunlight, and it was magnificent. Seeing this golden rain falling, Zibuhu, Junzioyao, and the 9-Fox Princess Bailey were all stunned. Chenjing, Libi and other divine masters were shocked. What is this? Golden rain? How can it rain golden rain? A core disciple didn't connect too much for a while, and said in surprise, heavenly rain. This is heavenly rain. An old ancestor shouted excitedly, only when 365 acupoints are opened in one go, will heavenly rain fall. Heavenly rain, my Kangshen Academy is going to produce an eternal god. Opening 365 acupoints in one go. Hearing the old ancestors' excited shouting, many disciples of Kangshen Academy were so scared that they fell down and looked at the 365 golden light pillars in the sky in horror. Zibuhu was also frightened. His face was pale and his whole body was shaking. He had practiced hard for many years, swallowed countless elixirs, and accumulated for many years, before he finally opened up 120 acupoints in one fell swoop, drawing the power of heaven and earth to temper his body. However, Yang Xiaoshan actually opened up 365 acupoints in one fell swoop. What kind of monster is this? He actually opened up 365 acupoints in one fell swoop. No one in the Kangshen continent has been able to open up 365 acupoints in one fell swoop for tens of thousands of years. The disciples of Kangshen Academy were shocked, boiling, and shocked. Princess Bailey of the Nine Foxes, Princess Wanning, and Ang Huangxi all opened their mouths wide, with incredible looks on their faces. Heavenly rain. Even Zenkai Qian was muttering to herself. She had heard about the ancient legend of heavenly rain, but her grandfather said that heavenly rain was simply impossible. This ancient legend only existed in ancient myths, and no one could do it now. But now, she saw it. She saw the ancient myth that her grandfather said no one could do. This person is called Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan. At this moment, this name was deeply imprinted in her heart. In the shocked eyes of everyone, a giant dragon rose from the Yang Xiaoshan mountain peak, and the dragon roared to the sky. The sound of the dragon roared through the heaven and earth. Even the imperial capital heard the roar of the dragon. Even the imperial capital felt the might of this dragon, that was stronger than the 9 heavens. What kind of dragon is this? Li Bi asked Chen Jing in shock. Chen Jing was suspicious, because even he didn't know what kind of dragon he saw. At this moment, all the disciples and senior officials of Kangshen Academy were shocked to see the flying dragon in the sky. Yang Xiaoshan seemed to be this flying dragon, and began to wake up. The golden rain from the 9 heavens kept falling on Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan's whole body seemed to be submerged by the golden rain. Under the operation of the dragon art, the energy of the rain continued to merge into every corner of his body. An immortal aura spread from Yang Xiaoshan's body. After opening 1296 acupoints, the strong man in the martial honor realm will have an immortal body. But now, after Yang Xiaoshan absorbed the rain from heaven, his body exuded an immortal aura. Time passed. Finally, at dusk, the 365 golden light pillars gradually disappeared, and heaven stopped raining. Yang Xiaoshan put away the dragon art. When Yang Xiaoshan came out of the palace, he saw that the mountain was surrounded by people. In the sky and on the ground, there were all disciples of Kangshen Academy. Even Chen Jing, Li Bi and other senior executives came. Immortal body. Chen Jing, Li Bi and other senior executives were shocked when they saw Yang Xiaoshan and felt the immortal aura on Yang Xiaoshan. When all the disciples of the academy heard it, they were surprised and looked at Yang Xiaoshan with envy. You know, even the body of a god cannot be immortal. But Yang Xiaoshan, now a venerable realm, after absorbing the rain from heaven, he cultivated into an immortal body. Not to mention those academy disciples, even Chen Jing, Li Bi and others were envious. This is an immortal body. An immortal body is not just about the body not decaying after death. The immortal body has many incredible powers. For example, the immortal body's life force is terrifyingly strong. As long as there is still a breath, it can heal itself, and the self-healing speed is dozens or even hundreds of times that of ordinary martial masters. Of course, once you have an immortal body, your defense is also very terrifying. Congratulations to Mr. Yang for cultivating an immortal body. Lin Mir stepped forward and congratulated Yang Xiaoshan. Her pretty face could not hide her joy. Qianlong Buddhist girl Yao Kingsu smiled and said, "Congratulations to Mr. Yang for creating another ancient myth." Creating an ancient myth is already shocking to the world, but Yang Xiaoshan has created one ancient myth after another, such as the 2 divine golden pills, such as the current immortal body. In the crowd, Zibuhu and Ziohan looked at Yang Xiaoshan with a strange look. Yang Xiaoshan actually cultivated an immortal body. They were more than jealous. They were simply jealous to the sky. As for Shen Yuan and Yanlong, they hid in the crowd and dared not look at Yang Xiaoshan. Half an hour later, the crowd gradually dispersed. After everyone dispersed, Yang Xiaoshan continued to swallow the next life god fruit. Now, he still has 2 life god fruits. As long as he refines 2 life god fruits, he will need 1 more. His ki and blood will reach 30,000 miles. he will be able to open up 365 acupoints in one fell swoop again, and then attract the rain from heaven again. After one rain from heaven, he has cultivated an immortal body. After another rain from heaven, his body will surely be stronger. Therefore, in the following days, Yang Xiaoshan did not go anywhere. He swallowed the life god fruit and practiced without leaving home. When Yang Xiaoshan refined the remaining 2 life god fruits, his ki and blood were close to 27,000 miles, and his strength also increased rapidly, breaking through to the 6th level of martial honor. Thanks to the brothers who vote for recommendations every day. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 412, The 3 Great Demon Sects. After breaking through to the realm of martial honor, ordinary martial honors may not be able to break through a small realm in 20 years. Some geniuses, if they can break through a small realm in 10 years, it is very fast. For example, the disciples of Kangshen Academy may not be able to break through from the 1st level of the honor realm to the 2nd level of the honor realm after 5 or 6 years of cultivation. But Yang Xiaoshan has broken through to the 6th level of the honor realm in less than half a year, which is absolutely shocking. This is no longer 1,000 miles a day, but 10,000 miles a day, 30,000 miles a day. After swallowing and refining the remaining 2 life god fruits, Yang Xiaoshan came to the mansion of the gods. The 100 saints of the dwarf tribe had already arrived, and under the command of Manfang, they refined a large number of weapons, armor, and elixirs. At the same time, Yang Xiaoshan took out a construction map and asked the dwarf masters to continue to build a batch of palaces in the mansion of the gods. In the future, when his parents and the people of the true dragon god sect come, there will be enough places to live. The mansion of the gods is very large, and many places are not used. If these vacant places are used, thousands of palaces can be built at will. However, there is still no news about the 9 heavenly tribulation thunderwater and the god level elixir. Afterwards, Yang Xiaoshan ordered the ice flame Kirin and the sky blue thunder python to go back to the true dragon sect to pick up his family, Xiaojin, Eluo King, Wookie, the black dragon king and others. Now that things have stabilized here, it is time to pick up his father, mother, and sister. Old ape, tomorrow, you and I will go to the Sea of Stars. Yang Xiaoshan said to the demon ape. The tide of the Sea of Stars will recede, and it is time to go to the Sea of Stars. As long as he subdues the purple star divine fire, he can refine the 2nd tribulation heaven level elixir. Yes, young master. The demon ape grinned. He loosened his muscles and said with a smile, I have been practicing in the mansion of the gods all day long these days, and I'm almost rusty. He was eager to go to the Sea of Stars with Yang Xiaoshan. The devil ancestor Mishan said, Sir, the masters of the blood demon sect, the evil Buddhist sect, and the corpse demon sect have been asking about the ebb tide of the Sea of Stars a few days ago. Many of their masters have already rushed to the Sea of Stars. This trip is probably dangerous. How about taking a few more people with you? The masters of the blood demon sect, the evil Buddhist sect, and the corpse demon sect are all going to the Sea of Stars? Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. Could it be that an incredible treasure was born in the Sea of Stars? Otherwise, why would so many evil demon masters want to go to the Sea of Stars? Yes, and the leader of the blood demon sect, the leader of the evil Buddhist sect, and the leader of the corpse demon sect have all rushed to the Sea of Stars. The devil ancestor Mishan said with a serious face. Do you know why they want to go to the Sea of Stars? Yang Xiaoshan asked. I haven't found out, but they shouldn't be going for the purple star divine fire. The devil ancestor Mishan shook his head. Well, I know. Yang Xiaoshan pondered and said, you let people continue to inquire about the news of the 9 heavenly tribulation thunderwater and the god level elixir. You go down first. The devil ancestor Mishan responded respectfully. The next day, Yang Xiaoshan and the demon ape left the capital of the 10,000 gods. Although he knew that many evil masters would also enter the Sea of Stars this time, Yang Xiaoshan decided to take only the demon ape. As long as the corpse demon, blood demon, and evil Buddha, these peerless demons, did not appear, the demon ape's strength was enough to deal with them. Just as Yang Zai Ocean and the demon ape were rushing to the Sea of Stars, Princess Wanning of the 10,000 gods also rushed to the Sea of Stars with a group of subordinates. She entered the Sea of Stars this time, not for the purple starfire, but to find the star god An. She wanted to build a star god armor, and now she was still short of star god An. Driven by Yang Zai Ocean with all his strength, the Abyss spaceship continued to blast through the heavy clouds and waves, and rushed to the Sea of Stars. Sir, what should we do if we meet the masters of the three major demon sects? The demon ape asked on the way. Kill. After getting Yang Zai Ocean's reply, the demon ape knew what to do. While rushing on the road, Yang Zai Ocean was not idle, and continued to comprehend the Divine Shadow Sword. Yang Zai Ocean was completely immersed in the Divine Shadow Sword. It was not until the demon ape called him that Yang Zai Ocean realized that he had arrived at the Sea of Stars. Coming out of the spaceship, Yang Zai Ocean looked and saw that the sea in front of him was dotted with gems like stars. Under the shining of these star gems, the sea surface was flowing with starlight, which was very beautiful and dreamlike. At this time, the Sea of Stars was still surging, and the waves were higher than one layer, and the surging power was daunting. Obviously, the Sea of Stars has not really receded yet, and there is still a while before the ebb. Since the Sea of Stars has not receded, the strong men from all sides can only wait outside the Sea of Stars. Yang Zai Ocean and the demon ape were also waiting outside. Just as Yang Zai Ocean was waiting, suddenly, a large group of demon masters from the distance broke through the air and flew over. Seeing this large group of demon masters, many masters on the scene changed their faces. Blood Demon Sect, Evil Buddhism, Corpse Demon Sect. Whether it is the Blood Demon Sect, the Evil Buddhism, or the Corpse Demon Sect, they are all super demon sects that make the sects and families of the major empires change color. Now, they actually came together. How could the many masters at the scene not be shocked? Everyone was so scared that they quickly moved away. Only Yang Zai Ocean and the demon ape stood still. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of masters from the three major sects of the Blood Demon Sect and the Corpse Demon Sect arrived. A Corpse Demon Sect master saw Yang Zai Ocean and the demon ape standing there without moving, and was about to step forward to throw Yang Zai Ocean and the others away, when the Corpse Demon Sect leader Liang Zuan said, "Forget it." The Corpse Demon Sect master gave up. Seeing this scene, the masters who had been hiding far away were very surprised. This was not like the style of the three major sects of the Corpse Demon Sect. According to the usual style of the three major sects, they would directly throw Yang Zai Ocean and the others away, or even directly step on them, or tear them into pieces. Seeing that the three major sects changed their usual brutal and bloody methods, and were so cautious, Yang Zai Ocean was also confused. The three major sects were cautious, and did not want to cause trouble, but the demon ape did not want to let the masters of the three major sects go. He stared at the master of the Corpse Demon Sect who was about to attack just now, grinned, and suddenly slapped him. Bang! The master of the Corpse Demon Sect was slapped away by the demon ape. When he landed, his whole body was flattened. He lay on the ground, twitched a few times, and then stiffened there, no longer moving. The three masters of the three demon sects couldn't believe their eyes. Even the masters of the major sects in the distance were stunned. The three masters of the three demon sects looked at the corpse of the master of the Corpse Demon Sect lying there, and responded with bloodthirsty and brutal killing intent. "You are looking for death. You are looking for death. Kill." The three masters of the three demon sects attacked the demon ape and Yang Zai Ocean frantically. Looking at the three masters of the demon sect attacking, the demon ape smiled and swung out the two 10,000-foot black crystal iron chains in his hand, turning into two life-seeking streams. They directly penetrated the bodies of the masters of the demon sect one after another. Suddenly, there was a scream. He shook his hands and saw that more than 30 masters of the demon sect who were pierced by the iron chains were all shaken into pieces. Blood rained. Immediately afterwards, the magic ape kept the iron chain in his hand moving and swept towards the three masters of the magic sect with the force of sweeping away thousands of troops. Chapter 413 Star Tree. Bang, bang, bang. The demon ape's iron chain swept across, and all the masters of the three major demon sects were swept away. No one could resist the power of the demon ape's iron chain. Liang Zuan, the leader of the corpse demon sect, looked at the iron chain that swept across and slashed out with the corpse demon sword in his hand, and the corpse gas was overwhelming. The smell of corpses was so stinking that even people far away wanted to vomit. Clang! The corpse demon sword slashed on the iron chain. After a crisp sound, the corpse demon sword was shaken away, and Liang Zuan himself flew backwards like a fallen leaf, falling on the beach in the distance, and countless sands were smashed away. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. The corpse demon sect is one of the strongest demon sects in the Kangshen continent. Liang Zuan, as the leader of the corpse demon sect, is more than an ordinary god, but he can't stop the attack of the black-haired strongman in front of him. The masters of the three major demon sects were also shocked. The demon ape swung the iron chain again, and it turned into a cold dragon, instantly entangling several demon sect masters. Before they could react, they were pulled in front of the demon ape. The demon ape punched the heads of these demon sect masters directly, smashing them to pieces. Blood plasma sprayed. It even dyed the star sea not far away red. Looking at the fierce demon ape, not only the people in the distance, but also the three demon sect masters retreated in fear. At this moment, suddenly, someone shouted, "The tide has receded." Everyone looked over and saw that the star sea, which had been turbulent just now, was constantly decreasing, and soon it was like a flat ground. The island that was originally submerged by the sea gradually revealed its appearance. Enter the star sea. Liang Zuan, the leader of the corpse demon sect, roared, and the first person broke through the air and rushed into the star sea. Seeing this, other masters of the three major demon sects did not care about Yangtze Ocean and the demon ape, and rushed into the sea of stars. No one was left alive, leaving behind dozens of corpses. Chase. Yangtze Ocean said coldly, and then chased with the demon ape. Now the three major demon sects have formed an alliance with the Hade sect and the undead god of death. So for these demon sect masters who have formed an alliance with the Hade sect and the undead god of death, they can kill as many as they can. So the demon ape chased all the way. He killed dozens of demon sect masters. Seeing that Liang Zuan and others had already fled far away, he stopped. Then, the demon ape came to Yangtze Ocean with a supreme elder of the corpse demon sect. This supreme elder of the corpse demon sect was not dead yet, and the demon ape deliberately kept him alive for a few breaths. After the demon ape and Yangtze Ocean pressed the question, the supreme elder of the corpse demon sect finally told the purpose of the three major demon sects entering the Sea of Stars. It turned out that the masters of the three major demon sects entered the Sea of Stars mainly for the star god Un. Star god Un? Yangtze Ocean pondered and said, "Let's go find the purple star god fire first." "Yes, sir." After a moment, Yangtze Ocean and the demon ape flew away. Although the star god iron is also a rare treasure, the purple star god fire is more important to him now. As for the corpse demon sect's grand elder, he was torn in half by the demon ape. Just as Yangtze Ocean and the demon ape flew to the island that Princess Wanning mentioned, Princess Wanning and her masters also came to the Sea of Stars. Masters from various sects also poured into the Sea of Stars. Chiangxian sect got the star god water. Fenglai Pavilion got the wind and thunder god stone. As masters from various sects poured in, news of the major sects getting treasures came out from time to time. Star god water and wind and thunder god stone are both rare treasures. Especially the star god water, which is an innate divine water that is much better than the life spirit liquid. Yangtze Ocean was also surprised to learn that Chiangxian sect got the star god water. "I didn't expect that there is star god water in the Sea of Stars," Yangtze Ocean said. If he could get star god water and practice with the 6th heavenly tribulation thunder water, the effect would naturally be better. The demon ape said, "It is said that there is a star god tree in the Sea of Stars. I don't know whether it is true or not." Star god tree. Yangtze Ocean was shocked. "Yes, star god tree." The demon ape nodded and said, "It is said that this star god tree has grown since the birth of the Sea of Stars. It has been countless years. The Lord of Kang God has seen the star god tree and picked dozens of star god fruits. Because of this, the Lord of Kang God has laid a solid foundation. Only then can he cultivate 14 destinies and 14 holy fruits." Yangtze Ocean suddenly realized No wonder the Lord of Kang God can condense 14 destinies and 14 holy fruits. I didn't expect to get dozens of Star God fruits. Star God fruit is something comparable to Life God fruit. Dozens of Star God fruits, what a concept. Even if it was an ordinary genius disciple, after swallowing dozens of Star God fruits and practicing hard for decades, his cultivation would soar to an astonishing level. However, since the Lord of Kangshan, the Star God tree has not been seen again. The demon ape said, in the past million years, the Star God tree should have produced more than a dozen Star God fruits. Yang Ocean's heart was burning. If he could get more than a dozen Star God fruits, he would definitely be able to open up all 1296 acupoints in his body within a year, and then break through the realm of the Great Emperor. Even stronger. Therefore, Yang Ocean decided to find the Star God tree. After conquering the Purple Star Divine Fire, the two continued to fly to the Purple Star Divine Fire Island. One day later, a huge island-like land appeared in their sight. This island was fiery red and very conspicuous in the sea of stars. According to Princess Wanning, she had seen the Purple Star Divine Fire on this island. Yang Ocean accelerated and came to the sky above the island. There is no sunlight in the sea of stars, only the faint light of stars, just like the starry night sky, but the light of this island is very strong, illuminating the surrounding sea area. As soon as he entered the island, Yang Ocean felt the unusually active power of fire. Moreover, the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire and the Thousand Buddha Divine Fire in his body became unusually active. It seems that Princess Wanning was right. The Purple Star Divine Fire is within this island. Otherwise, the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire and the Thousand Buddha Divine Fire in his body would not be so active. But Yang Ocean had a feeling that danger was approaching. This danger did not come from the Purple Star Divine Fire, but from another powerful existence in the island. Young master, be careful. The demon ape also sensed another powerful and dangerous aura and spoke. As soon as he finished speaking, the ground of the island suddenly exploded, and a huge fire lion flew out from the ground, opening its fire basin mouth and swallowing Yang Ocean. This fire lion is none other than the ancient mythical beast Fire Rock Lion, the companion beast of the Purple Star Divine Fire. It lurks underground, consuming the fire spirit of the Purple Star Divine Fire for many years to cultivate, and has amazing divine power. Seeing this, the demon ape immediately punched out. Boom. He and the giant palm of the Fire Rock Lion collided. The Fire Rock Lion was blown away, knocking away several peaks of the island. The demon ape was also shocked and retreated repeatedly. The strength of this Fire Rock Lion is catching up with the original Demon Heaven Sword God. Even if it is weaker than the Demon Heaven Sword God, it is not much different. Young master, you go and subdue the Purple Star Divine Fire, and I will deal with the Fire Rock Lion. The demon ape roared and punched the Fire Rock Lion again. Chapter 414, The Three Divine Fires. The Fire Rock Lion was blown away by the demon ape. In pain, it roared angrily and rushed towards the demon ape. The two fought each other. Yang Ocean did not hesitate, bypassed the two, and flew to the location of the Purple Star Divine Fire. The Fire Rock Lion saw Yang Ocean's intention and was furious. He wanted to attack Yang Ocean, but was stopped by the demon ape. Yang Ocean came to the highest mountain on the island, and took out the Jade Dragon Heavenly Cauldron directly. The Danshan Zeniuan and 365 acupoints were all in operation. All the Zeniuan gushed out, and the cauldron was swung on the mountain. Boom. There was a loud noise. The mountain was blown away by Yang Ocean. As the mountain was shattered by Yang Ocean, suddenly, endless star flames sprayed out. 1, 2, 3. A total of 7 star-like star sky fires flew out from the ground. The 7 star sky fires condensed into a formation diagram, forming a ball of divine fire, which was the Purple Star Divine Fire. The Purple Star Divine Fire appeared, and the world was illuminated. The surrounding sea of stars seemed to be covered with layers of star flames, and it was all bright. The amazing flames rushed towards Yang Ocean. Before the flames arrived, Yang Ocean felt like he was in a sea of fire, and his whole body was burned to ashes. Yang Ocean had never encountered such a terrifying flame. Even the flame power of the Thousand Buddhas Divine Fire and the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire combined was not as terrifying as the flame in front of him. Even if he had full defense, he would be turned into ashes if he was splashed by the flames. At the moment, when the flames engulfed Yangtze Ocean, a ray of light from Master Ding enveloped Yangtze Ocean. Use the fire control technique. Master Ding's voice sounded. Yangtze Ocean quickly used the fire control technique and cast a series of fire runes, trying to subdue the purple star divine fire. But the power of the purple star divine fire was too strong, and Yangtze Ocean's fire runes were shattered as soon as they touched the purple star divine fire. Yangtze Ocean cast the fire runes over and over again, but the fire rune was shattered by the purple star fire again and again. His fire rune could not get close to the purple star fire at all. The star flames of the purple star fire were like an endless sea, one layer after another, and it rose thousands of feet. In the flames, the 7-star sky fire shone brightly. Compared with the purple star fire in front of him, the star flames of the alien fire he had subdued before were simply a world apart. The star flames were among the top 100 alien fires, and the flame power was not weak, but it was not even 1/millionth of the purple star fire. The flames of the purple star fire turned into a sea of fire that was unknown how many miles long. Even the two great beasts, the demon ape and the fire rock lion, could not withstand the power of the purple star fire. Therefore, the two beasts retreated while fighting, and retreated all the way to the island, retreating thousands of miles away from the island. Yangtze Ocean could not restrain the purple star fire at all. Fortunately, Master Ding sent out rays of light one after another, covering the purple star fire, and preventing it from flying away. Even so, the purple star fire also blasted Master Ding's light shield and shook it endlessly. The power of the purple star divine fire was far beyond Yangtze Ocean's imagination. After 7 days, the purple star divine fire was still like a ferocious tiger and lion, bombarding the light shield. As long as the light of the light shield dimmed, the bombardment of the purple star divine fire would be more intense. After 7 days, Yangtze Ocean still persisted in casting one fire rune after another. However, as soon as the fire rune approached the purple star divine fire, it was still shattered. Yangtze Ocean looked at the purple star divine fire, which was still extremely hot and fierce, and was a little speechless. This was too fierce. You know, the 1000 Buddha's divine fire only lasted for 3 days before it was tired. Now it has been 7 days, and the purple star divine fire is still full of energy. If it continues for another 10 days or half a month, I'm afraid that the seawater of the Sea of Stars will rise again. At that time, he can only withdraw from the Sea of Stars. Once the seawater of the Sea of Stars rises, a kind of star elemental water will rise from the abyss of the seabed. One drop of this kind of star essence water weighs 100 million jin. Even if a powerful god is submerged by this star essence water, he will be crushed to pieces and die without a complete body. Therefore, he had to subdue the Zui divine fire before the seawater of the Sea of Stars rose again. 3 more days passed. Finally, the Zui divine fire, which was full of energy, showed signs of fatigue. Seeing that the Zui divine fire finally showed signs of fatigue, Yangtze Ocean was relieved. However, he did not dare to relax at all, and repeatedly injected the fire rune into the Zui divine fire. Another day passed. Finally, the fire rune broke through the defense of the Zui divine fire, and merged into the Zui divine fire. With the integration of the fire rune, the Zui divine fire gradually settled down. Another 2 days passed. The Zui divine fire finally settled down completely, and Yangtze Ocean and the Zui divine fire were connected by heart and blood. He stretched out his hand, and the Zui divine fire continued to shrink and fell on his palm. Looking at the Zui divine fire in front of him, Yangtze Ocean could not hide his joy. This is the 7th rank divine fire. He has already experienced the strength of the purple star divine fire. After taming the purple star divine fire, he has 3 divine fires, and he can then refine the 2nd level heavenly elixir. Moreover, if he encounters the immortal death energy and the ghost energy of the underworld, he will have a certain degree of suppression power. Yangtze Ocean put away the purple star divine fire, and at this time, the demon ape also returned to his side. The fire rock lion was defeated, and had already escaped 11 days ago. Congratulations, young master. The demon ape saw that Yangtze Ocean had tamed the purple star divine fire, and it was hard to hide his joy. Yangtze Ocean smiled and said, "Let's go find the star god tree. The Sea of Stars is endless. Although the hope of finding the star god tree is slim, Yang Ocean still wants to look for it. However, there are only a few days left before the next high tide, so they have to hurry. The two broke through the air and left the island. A day passed quickly. The two did not find the star god tree, but they found a lot of good things. Yang Ocean even found some star god water. It's just not much, only a few mouthfuls. In this way, Yang Ocean searched for the star tree during the day and chose to practice on an island at night. On this day, when Yang Ocean passed by an island, he met many masters from the sects. The masters of the 10,000 Gods Empire and the masters of the three major demon sects are fighting. Although there are many masters from the 10,000 Gods Empire this time, they are still weaker than the three major demon sects. Princess Wanning is afraid of danger. Princess Wanning is such a delicate beauty. If she falls into the hands of the masters of the three major demon sects, she will be trampled to death by hundreds of people. What a pity. Princess Wanning is the most beloved daughter of the 10,000 Gods Emperor. The masters of the three major demon sects dare not do anything to her, right? Don't dare? The Corpse Demon sect and the Underworld sect dared to besiege the Kangshan mansion a few days ago. Do you think the Corpse Demon sect is afraid of the 10,000 Gods Emperor? Yang Ocean heard it, his face sank, and he came to the masters of the sects, threw a bag of spirit stones to them, asked about the location of the battle between the three major demon sects and the 10,000 Gods Empire, and immediately rushed over with the demon ape at full speed. At this time, on a certain island, masters from the three major demon sects were surrounding and killing Princess Wanning's men. As those sect masters said, although there were many masters from the 10,000 Gods Empire this time, they were still weaker than the three major demon sects. Under the siege of the masters from the three major demon sects, the masters of the 10,000 Gods Empire were constantly killed. Chapter 415 Junior Brother Yang. Seeing the masters of the 10,000 Gods Empire falling one by one, the leader of the Corpse Demon sect, Liang Zuan, sneered. His eyes swept across the stunning face of Princess Wanning and the towering tower in front of him, and his heart was burning. Old Yan, we will stay and hold them back. You take the princess away. A master of the 10,000 Gods Empire roared, and his whole body of divine power continued to stretch out, frantically attacking the masters of the three major demon sects, trying to tear a gap. However, as soon as he made a move, he was punched back by the leader of the Blood Demon sect. The leader of the Blood Demon sect laughed and said, "Leave. Do you think you can still leave?" His eyes fell on Princess Wanning. Princess Wanning, right? She is really beautiful. What's rare is that she is still a virgin. Don't worry, we will let you feel our powerful fighting power to your heart's content later, and you will be happy to the sky. The masters of the three major demon sects laughed. Princess Wanning was so angry that her face turned red like purple. Master, will we have a share then? A Blood Demon sect Saint Realm 10th layer ancestor asked with a smile. Don't worry, everyone will have a share. The leader of the Blood Demon sect laughed wildly. Wanning was so angry that she trembled. She watched her men fall down one after another, anxious, angry, and heartbroken. These guards have followed her since childhood. Liang Zuan, if you let our princess go, our 10,000 Gods Empire will give you treasures. Yan Leo beside Wanning said in a deep voice, whatever you want, as long as our 10,000 Gods Empire has it, we will definitely offer it with both hands. Liang Zuan shook his head, baby, we have plenty in the Corpse Demon sect. Then he stared at Wanning and smiled evilly. However, when we have enjoyed your princess and are tired of playing, it will not be too late to exchange for the treasures in your 10,000 Gods Empire's treasury. Yan Leo and the masters of the 10,000 Gods Empire were all furious. Yan Leo, you escape. Don't worry about me. Wanning calmed down in anger and said to Yan Leo beside her. With Yan Leo's strength, if he escaped alone, there is still hope that he can fight his way out. Yan Leo shook his head and didn't say anything. How could they abandon the princess and escape? Liang Zuan sneered, then looked at the masters of the demon sect who were digging for the star god iron in the distance, and shouted, hurry up. The tide is about to rise. If you don't dig out the star god iron when the tide rises, you should know the consequences when you go back. The masters of the demon sect who were digging trembled, and once again urged the holy power to dig with all their strength. However, the ground covering the star god iron was too hard. Even if it was a 10th level ancestor of the Holy Realm, it would be difficult to dig it open with a sword comparable to the Heavenly Sword. After Liang Zuan scolded the masters who were digging for the star god iron, he suddenly flashed and came to old Yan and slapped him with the palm. Liang Zuan was too fast and old Yan was slapped away before he could react. When he landed, there was a black palm print on his chest. The palm print exuded an astonishing corpse gas, and his chest began to rot. And the corpse gas was corroding around his chest. Corpse poison palm. Old Yan spit out a large mouthful of blood. Corpse poison palm, the most vicious poison palm in Kangshen continent. The hands of the cultivators are soaked in corpse water for years. Once they have reached the highest level, the whole body of the person who is hit will be eaten by the corpse gas and continue to rot. It is painful. Old Yan. Wanning cried out sadly when she saw old Yan being hit by Liang Zuan's corpse poison palm. Of course, she knew the horror of the corpse poison palm. Moreover, the poison of the corpse poison palm is extremely difficult to expel, and there is almost no antidote. If there is no life essence in a short period of time, the treasures of heaven and earth such as the heavenly tribulation thunderwater are almost certain to die. After Liang Zuan slapped old Yan away with one palm, his palms did not stop and waved repeatedly. The masters of the 10,000 gods empire were constantly knocked away. Some masters of the 10,000 gods empire were killed directly by the heart explosion of Liang Zuan's corpse poison palm. Go all out. Liang Zuan said to the masters of the 3 major demon sects, solve it early and enjoy it early. The masters of the 3 major demon sects were very excited and went all out. Soon, hundreds of masters of the 10,000 gods empire were all knocked away or directly beaten to death. In the end, only Princess Wanning was still standing. Go, bring her here. Liang Zuan said to a corpse demon sect master beside him. The corpse demon sect master happily responded, and in a flash, he came to Princess Wanning. However, just as he stretched out his hand to Princess Wanning, suddenly, a whistle sounded. The corpse demon sect master turned his head in shock, and saw a black iron chain breaking through the air. Seeing the black iron chain, his face changed drastically, and he was about to dodge, but it was too late. The iron chain was instantly pulled down from his head. The corpse demon sect master was pulled in half. The left and right halves flew apart. The sudden change in front of them stunned everyone. Everyone looked over and saw a blue-shirted boy stepping into the air, followed by a strong man with black hair all over his body. Seeing the newcomer, the masters of the 3 major demon sects all changed color. Liang Zuan's hand trembled. More than 10 days ago, his corpse demon sword was hit by the demon ape iron chain, leaving a big gap. Princess Wanning was surprised to see the person coming. Her pretty face was filled with unbelievable joy. Junior brother Yang. The person coming turned out to be junior brother Yang. She didn't expect to meet junior brother Yang here. Boy, it's you again. The evil Buddhist leader stared at Yang Xiaoshan in shock and anger, gritting his teeth and said, you have offended our 3 major demon sects, and you will die miserably. Not only you, but also your sect and your family will be living a life worse than death. Kill. Yang Xiaoshan was too lazy to talk nonsense and let the demon ape start killing directly. The demon ape roared, took a step forward, and came to the sky above the island, swinging the 2 10,000 feet iron chains in his hand again. Looking at the 2 10,000 feet iron chains swinging, the evil Buddhist leader was panicked. In terms of strength, he was slightly inferior to Liang Zuan. Even Liang Zuan could hardly resist the demon ape's iron chain, let alone him. He didn't dare to take it hard and dodged in panic, but the demon ape obviously didn't want to let him go, and the iron chain in his hand kept chasing him. Yang Xiaoshan flew to Princess Wanning. Junior brother Yang, how come you came to the Sea of Stars? Princess Wanning said in surprise, unable to hide her joy. Looking at Yang Xiaoshan in front of her, for some reason, she felt particularly at ease, as if she was not afraid of falling from the sky. When Yang Xiaoshan heard Princess Wanning ask him why he came to the Sea of Stars, he didn't know how to answer for a moment. He couldn't say that he came to find the purple star divine fire. Yang Xiaoshan cleared his throat and said, I'll treat their injuries first. Having said that, he came to old Yan and took out 10 drops of 6-fold heavenly tribulation thunder water. 6-fold heavenly tribulation thunder water. Princess Wanning's beautiful eyes glared. Even old Yan who originally thought he was going to die, was stunned. This young man actually had heavenly tribulation thunder water, and it was sixfold. Yang Xiaoshan gave 10 drops of sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water to old Yan to swallow, and then came to the other masters of the 10,000 gods empire, 10 drops each, and asked everyone to swallow it. Seeing that Yang Xiaoshan actually had so much sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water, not only Princess Wanning and others, but also Liang Zuan and others were all staring with eyes wide open. Chapter 416, Rising Tide. The sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water is indeed a natural treasure that can bring people back to life. After swallowing the sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water, old Yan and the others recovered quickly. The corpse poison in their bodies was constantly purified by the thunder in the thunder water. Old Yan and the others recovered from their injuries and joined the battle, attacking and killing the 3 great masters of the demon sect together with the demon ape. Just now, the people of the Dragon Empire were almost unilaterally slaughtered by the 3 great masters of the demon sect, but now with the demon ape, the people of the Dragon Empire are more powerful than a tiger, and their eyes are bloodshot, killing the 3 great masters of the demon sect. Liang Zuan, the leader of the evil Buddha, the leader of the blood demon sect, and a group of masters surrounded and killed the demon ape, but the demon ape was more fierce than everyone imagined. Even if hundreds of them surrounded and killed the demon ape, they were still bombarded by the demon ape and vomited blood. The demon ape was so angry that he roared to the sky, and the dark light on his body surged. He changed his original body and turned into a monstrous demon ape that supported the sky and the earth, and the iron chain in his hand was pulled down. Boom. I saw several masters of the demon sect being smashed by the iron chain. The iron chain fell on the ground. The ground cracked. The island was shaking, and there was a sign that it was about to split apart. Looking at the body of the demon ape that supported the sky and the earth, Liang Zuan and others all changed color. The heart-connecting demon ape. He is the one from Demon Ape Ridge. An old ancestor of the blood demon sect said in shock. Liang Zuan and others finally knew who the violent and murderous man in front of them was. It turned out to be the heart-connecting demon ape that was suppressed by the heavenly dragon sword god in Demon Ape Ridge. If we say which demon head in the Kangshen continent has the most notorious reputation in the past 10,000 years, the one in Demon Ape Ridge is definitely the most notorious one. Knowing that it was the heart-connecting demon ape, the 3 masters of the demon sect all felt cold in their hearts. Before being suppressed by the heavenly dragon sword god, the heart-connecting demon ape killed countless sects and caused rivers of blood, and almost none of those who were killed had intact bodies. All of them were smashed and torn into countless pieces. Senior, with your reputation, why should you be inferior to a human boy? Liang Zuan suppressed his shock and advised the demon ape, with your reputation, if you join us, the corpse demon ancestor and the immortal god of death will certainly welcome you from thousands of miles away. Then, we will have no worries about sweeping the Kangshen continent. However, Liang Zuan was responded by the demon ape's furious stick. The demon ape hit Liang Zuan with an iron chain. Get out of your mother's balls. Corpse demon, immortal god of death, they are not even worthy of washing my son's bird. Not even worthy of washing a bird. Listening to the demon ape's words, Liang Zuan and others were shocked and angry. Princess Wanning blushed and spat. The subordinates that junior brother Yang recruited are too much. Yang Xiaoshan was standing next to Princess Wanning, and his forehead was black when he heard the words. This old ape is really outspoken. He didn't expect the old ape to suddenly link the immortal god of death with his bird. Suddenly, the heart of the demon ape's chest began to beat strongly, and every time it beat strongly, it made a sound like a drum. Heart-to-heart power. He wants to activate the heart-to-heart power. The face of the evil Buddhist leader changed drastically. In the 100 Races Empire, many ancient tribes have strong blood and physiques. Some are born with divine eyes, and some have wings behind their backs. The heart-to-heart demon ape tribe is born with a heart-to-heart. The heart-to-heart is known as the immortal heart. That's why the dragon sword god couldn't kill the demon ape back then. Once the heart-to-heart power is activated, the demon ape's strength will soar again. The demon ape's strength is already terrifying. If the heart-to-heart power is activated again, how much stronger will it be? Liang Zuan, the leader of the blood demon sect, felt the demon ape's rising power and was even more frightened. But now the star god iron has not been excavated yet, so they dare not leave, even if they want to. This star god iron is what the immortal death god wants. The ancestors of their three major sects said that even if they die, they must bring the star god iron back. Kill. Liang Zuan shouted fiercely, holding the corpse demon sword and slashing at the demon ape frantically, and shouted at the same time, dig faster, hurry up. The masters of the demon sect who were digging the star iron dug even more frantically. The ground was dug with a clanging sound. However, Liang Zuan's corpse demon sword was hit by the demon ape's iron chain as soon as he slashed it out. Bang! Liang Zuan and the corpse demon sword were pulled out again. A big gap appeared on the corpse demon sword again. Kill that kid. The leader of the evil Buddhist sect pointed his sword at Yang Ocean, his eyes bloodshot, and then he slashed at Yang Ocean first. But before his attack reached Yang Ocean, the demon ape's iron chain swung again, forcing him to retreat in embarrassment. As the demon ape's iron chain continued to swing, one demon sect master after another was blown up, smashed into meat pulp, or blasted through. Whether it was Liang Zuan, the leader of the evil Buddhist sect, or the leader of the blood demon sect, none of them could withstand the attack of the demon ape. As the demon apes continued to kill, the number of masters from the three major demon sects continued to decrease. In the end, only Liang Zuan, the leader of the evil Buddhist sect, the leader of the blood demon sect, and several powerful ancestors in the spirit realm were left. Seeing the masters around them being beaten and smashed into pulp, the powerful ancestors in the spirit realm were all filled with fear. They had long lost the courage to fight again. Finally, an ancestor in the spirit realm could no longer resist the fear in his heart, and turned around, and fled regardless of everything. Liang Zuan saw this. His face was ugly. He glanced at the other ancestors with sharp eyes. Who dares to escape? Have you thought about the consequences? However, no matter how loud Liang Zuan roared, he could not stop the fear in the hearts of the other ancestors, and some of them still fled. If you don't escape at this time, you will die. If you escape, there may be a glimmer of hope. Liang Zuan's face turned pale. He looked at the dozen masters of the demon sect who were digging for the star iron, but saw that the dozen masters of the demon sect were being surrounded and killed by the masters of the 10,000 gods empire, and they could not continue to dig. Liang Zuan suddenly felt sad. Obviously, it was impossible for them to dig out the star god iron. Brother Liang, let's retreat first and report the situation to the ancestors. They should be able to understand. The leader of the blood demon sect said anxiously. Yes, Brother Liang, let's retreat first. The leader of the evil Buddha also shouted anxiously. Retreat. Liang Zuan had no choice but to give the order. As Liang Zuan gave the order, the remaining masters of the three major demon sects fled desperately. The demon ape chased them down. After a while, they returned. Thank you for your help, young master. Yan Kang will never forget it. After returning, I will report to the emperor and thank you. Old Yan bowed deeply to Yang Ocean. Yang Ocean shook his hand and smiled. It's just a piece of cake. Then, the 10,000 gods empire made every effort to dig out the star god iron. Just as everyone dug out the star god iron, suddenly, the entire sea of stars shook violently, and in the distant sky, layers of thousands of feet of huge waves rose to the sky, swallowing this side at a terrifying speed. The tide is rising. Everyone was shocked as they watched the huge waves swallowing them. Quick, let's leave the sea of stars. Princess Wan Ning hurriedly summoned the spaceship and boarded it with the masters of the 10,000 gods empire. Yang Ocean had no choice but to board the spaceship, since the tide was rising, and it was impossible to find the star god tree again. He and the demon ape could only leave. Chapter 417. Entering the eternal burial ground again. The rising tide of the sea of stars, like a beast that devours the sky, opened its huge mouth and continued to devour everything in the sea of stars. Some sect masters who could not escape were all drowned by the sea of stars. They did not even have time to scream. The tide of the sea of stars was rising too fast. The boundless waves rushed up to the sky, covering the sky and the sun, as if they were going to swallow up all the stars in the sky. Although the spaceship of the 10,000 gods empire was fast enough, the speed of the tide was even faster than that of the spaceship of the 10,000 gods empire. It chased madly behind, like a giant star beast, and kept approaching the spaceship of the 10,000 gods empire. Looking at the approaching huge waves, the faces of the masters of the 10,000 Gods Empire changed, and Princess Wanning was so nervous that her heart was in her throat. "Let's take my spaceship." Yang Xiaoshan saw it, and in the puzzled eyes of Yan Kang and others, Yang Xiaoshan took out the Abyss spaceship. True god level spaceship? Yan Kang was shocked when he saw Yang Xiaoshan's Abyss spaceship. Yang Xiaoshan nodded and then asked Princess Wanning, Yan Kang and others to board his spaceship. Under his full drive, the Abyss spaceship turned into a stream of light, blasting away the heavy air waves, and instantly pulled away the huge waves of stars behind. Yan Kang and others felt the unparalleled speed of the Abyss spaceship, and were all shocked. Princess Wanning was surprised, and she was even more curious about Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan first had the divine grade golden pill, the 12 sword hearts, then the flame of the earth, the 9 phoenix golden flame, the burial heaven sword, the demon slaying sword, and now the heart connecting demon ape and the true god level spaceship. She was really curious about what secrets this junior brother Yang had. With the Abyss spaceship flying at high speed, everyone finally got out of the Sea of Stars safely. After leaving the Sea of Stars, when the spaceship came to the border of the 10,000 Gods Empire, Yang Xiaoshan said to Princess Wanning, "Senior Sister One, I have something else to do, and I can't send you back to the 10,000 Gods Academy. Another year has passed, and the Eternal Heaven Tomb will be opened. He will enter the Eternal Heaven Tomb to find the Eternal Heaven Coffin. If we rush to the Eternal Burial Ground now, we can just catch up." Princess Wanning was disappointed when she heard this, but she could only bow to Yang Xiaoshan and said, "Junior brother Yang, thank you. Without you, old Yan and I would not be able to leave the Sea of Stars." At this point, Princess Wanning looked at Yang Xiaoshan with tender eyes. Yang Xiaoshan felt a little embarrassed by Princess Wanning's tender eyes, and smiled and said, "Senior Sister One, you are too polite. I said it was just a small favor." Then, under the gaze of Princess Wanning, he drove the spaceship and disappeared into the sky with the demon ape. Yan Kang and the masters of the 10,000 Gods Empire bowed to see Yang Xiaoshan off. Looking at Yang Xiaoshan's disappearing figure, Yan Kang also felt deeply moved for a long time. "Princess, young Master Yang has gone far away. Otherwise, let's go back to the Imperial capital first." Yan Kang saw Princess Wanning staring at the direction where Yang Xiaoshan disappeared in a daze, and couldn't help but speak. Princess Wanning suddenly said, "Old Yan, what kind of person will junior brother Yang be in the future?" Yan Kang was stunned, and he pondered, "The Eternal God. The Eternal God." Hearing Yan Kang's reply, Princess Wanning was shocked. After Yang Xiaoshan and the demon ape left, they drove the spaceship to the Eternal Burial Ground at a rapid speed. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was rushing to the Eternal Burial Ground, Liang Zuan, the leader of the Blood Demon sect, and others returned to the Corpse Demon sect's main hall. On the throne of the main hall sat the undead god of death, the Corpse Demon, and a group of peerless old demons. Liang Zuan and others knelt on the ground, not daring to breathe. The telepathic demon ape in Demon Ape Ridge. Hearing the report from Liang Zuan and others, the Corpse Demon frowned. Yes, it was the one in Demon Ape Ridge who ruined our good things. Liang Zuan quickly explained. He followed a blue-shirted boy. Blue-shirted boy. The undead god of death, the Corpse Demon, the evil Buddha, the Blood Demon, and a group of peerless demons exclaimed in unison, and their faces changed, as if they were frightened at the same time. Liang Zuan, the leader of the Blood Demon cult, and others saw that the faces of the undying death god and others changed, and they were all stunned. They didn't understand why the undying death god and others were suddenly so scared when they heard the blue-shirted boy. "Ancestor, you?" Liang Zuan asked the Corpse Demon in surprise and caution. The Corpse Demon swallowed and said, "That blue-shirted boy, is he about 14 or 15 years old?" "Yes, he is about 14 or 15 years old." Liang Zuan quickly replied, and then described Yang Xiaoshan's appearance in detail. After hearing Liang Zuan's description, the undying death god, the Corpse Demon, and others have confirmed that the blue-shirted boy Liang Zuan mentioned is a blue-shirted boy they know. For a while, all the peerless demons were silent. Even the undying death god sat there in silence. He didn't expect that he would meet that damn boy everywhere. The first time was the Eternal Heaven Tomb, the second time was the Death Sword Tomb, and now Liang Zuan and others are in the Sea of Stars. You mean that Princess Wanning called the boy junior brother Yang? After a long time, the undying Death God asked. Yes, Lord Immortal Death God. Liang Zuan quickly replied, he should be a disciple of Kangshen Academy. A disciple of Kangshen Academy. The Immortal Death God was in doubt and said, you go and ask. Then he waved Liang Zuan and others away. Liang Zuan and others kowtowed, as if they were pardoned, and then retreated. Sir, the Eternal Heaven Tomb is about to be opened, so do we still need to enter? The corpse demon asked. The Immortal Death God's face was gloomy. He must get the Eternal Heaven coffin. But, what if he meets that boy again? Thinking of the dinghy mentioned by the boy, the Immortal Death God unconsciously clenched his hands. That was a supreme terrifying existence that even the Lord of the Abyss and the Deep Sea Demon Kun had killed. The more he thought about it, the more shocked he became, and the angrier he became. Enter. Why not enter? The Immortal Death God gritted his teeth and said, his eyes flashing with a chilling fierce light, not only do we have to enter, but we must find the Eternal Heaven coffin this time. The Tree of Life. Have you found out who took it away? He turned to ask the corpse demons. I found out. It should have been taken by that boy. The evil Buddha said. After hearing this, the immortal god of death was even more furious. It was that boy again. Could this boy be sent by the heavens to go against him? He suppressed his anger and gradually calmed down. So, the Tree of Life was on that boy. Thinking of that Mr. Ding, he felt desperate. Since the Tree of Life was on that boy, it would be impossible for him to take it from him. But without the Tree of Life, how could he practice the immortal god scripture to the highest level in a short period of time? Star Tree. He thought to himself. If he found the Star Tree, there would be hope. However, in the world, only the Lord of Kangod knew the exact location of the Star Tree. The Lord of Kangod left a notebook in the Kangod mansion, and the exact location of the Star Tree was recorded in that notebook. It seems that he has to go to the Kangod mansion again. Get ready. We will go to the eternal burial ground tomorrow. The immortal god of death collected his thoughts and said. Chapter 418 Ancient Blood Frog. Yang Ziroshan didn't know that the undying god of death, corpse demon and others were going to enter the eternal burial ground again, but he was thinking about the star god tree. Now, he had to wait for the next time the tide of the Sea of Stars receded, before looking for the star god tree. However, if he didn't know the exact location of the star god tree, it would be like looking for a stone in the vast sea of stars to find a tree. Yang Ziroshan asked the demon ape about the star god tree. The demon ape said, only the Lord of Kangod knows the exact location of the star god tree. At this point, he pondered and said, I heard that the Lord of Kangod left a note in the past, which recorded the detailed location of the star god tree and many treasures in the martial soul world. But, that note is in the Kangod mansion. In the Kangod mansion. Yang Ziroshan suddenly felt hopeful. But, that note has the sealing power of the Lord of Kangod, and no one can open it at all. The demon ape shook his head. Yang Ziroshan was stunned. No one can open it? Even senior Kang Zion can't open it? Yang Ziroshan asked. It should be impossible to open it. The demon ape said, and then he changed his tone and said, however, young master, you have obtained the inheritance of the Lord of Kangshen. You should be able to open it. Or, with the power of Lord Ding, it should be possible to blast it open. Yang Ziroshan nodded. Although he has now obtained the sword of Kangshen and practiced the Kangshen sword technique, it cannot be regarded as the real inheritance of the Lord of Kangshen. Only by integrating the heart of Kangshen can he truly obtain the power and inheritance of the Lord of Kangshen. However, since the notebook is in the Kangshen mansion, he must speed up his practice, break through the realm of the Great Emperor, and be promoted to become a disciple of the Kangshen mansion. The night is quiet. Yang Ziroshan stood at the bow of the spaceship, looking at the night that was rapidly receding. Old ape, do you think other continents will be the same as the Kangshen continent? Yang Ziroshan suddenly asked. The demon ape understood what Yang Ziroshan meant and said, where there are people, there are rivers and lakes. Where there are people, there are disputes, killings, injustices, and peerless demons like the immortal death god. Other continents may be more chaotic than the Kangshen continent. Yang Ziroshan asked, have you ever been to the Wanjian continent? The headquarters of the Tangshan divine sect is on the Wanjian continent. He was still very curious about the Wanjian continent. I have been there. The demon ape recalled. I just passed by the Wanjian continent at that time. There are hundreds of millions of sword masters on the Wanjian continent, and sword sects are everywhere. There, almost everyone practices sword and cultivates sword. It is the continent with the most sword sects in the Wuhan world. The Wanjian continent is also one of the most powerful continents in the Wuhan world. The demon ape told Yang Xiaoshan everything he knew. In the following days, Yang Xiaoshan continued to comprehend the divine shadow sword on the spaceship. These days, he has almost comprehended the divine shadow sword. There is only one step left to comprehend the divine shadow sword. Time passed. When he arrived at the eternal burial ground, Yang Xiaoshan finally comprehended the divine shadow sword Dao. However, although he had comprehended the divine shadow sword Dao, he was unable to condense the 15th sword heart. The difficulty of condensing the 15th sword heart was much more difficult than Yang Xiaoshan imagined. But Yang Xiaoshan was not discouraged. He believed that, as long as he could find more divine swords, and comprehend more sword ways, he would be able to condense the 15th sword heart. When he arrived at the eternal burial ground, Yang Xiaoshan was surprised that the eternal burial ground was actually crowded with people. The last time the eternal heavenly tomb was opened, almost no one was seen. Apart from the undead god of death, only the Brahma family and the Yimfeng sect masters came. But this time, there were more than hundreds of thousands. At a glance, there were people everywhere. Last time, only graves and dead things could be seen. Now, there are more people than graves and dead things. What's going on? Yang Xiaoshan was puzzled. The eternal heavenly tomb was opened, and so many people came. This situation was very unusual. In the past, when the heavenly tomb was opened, although there were many people, it was generally only a few thousand or tens of thousands. It is impossible to have so many. Let's ask someone. Yang Xiaoshan said. The demon ape directly grabbed a Saint Realm expert in the distance with one palm, and brought him to him, and then asked what was going on. The Saint Realm expert felt the demon ape's violent killing intent and divine aura, so he dared not say anything, and told him the reason in detail. It turned out that someone spread the news that the ancient blood frog would be born when the eternal heaven tomb was opened. Because of this, a large number of strong people came. Not only did the masters of the 100 Races Empire come, but even the masters of the surrounding empires came. Now there is still one day before the opening of the eternal heaven tomb, but the masters of the surrounding empires are still coming. Ancient blood frog. Yang Xiaoshan was very surprised. The ancient blood frog is a kind of ancient divine medicine, and it is the best for replenishing ki in blood. One ancient blood frog is probably comparable to half a life divine fruit. If he can get 2 ancient blood frogs, he can open up 365 acupoints in one fell swoop. Who spread the news that the ancient blood frog was born? Yang Xiaoshan asked. The Saint Realm Master shook his head and said he didn't know. He also heard it from others. Yang Xiaoshan didn't make things difficult for him and let him leave. The Saint Realm Master fled in panic. The ancient blood frog was born. The demon ape was surprised and said, I don't know if it's true or not. If it's true, how did this person know it? If it's false, what's the purpose of spreading this news? No matter whether the news is true or not, let's find the eternal heaven coffin first. Yang Xiaoshan said in a deep voice. The eternal heaven coffin is the purpose of their trip. If the ancient blood frog is really born, it would be even better if they can get it. The two flew to the eternal heaven tomb. Soon, they came to the eternal heaven tomb shining with golden light again. The eternal heaven tomb was already surrounded by powerful people from all sides. The elves are really miserable now. Since the elf queen and her group of strong men were killed, the elves' disciples are now captured and imprisoned by various tribes. The men have become coolies and the women have become playthings of various tribes. It's just the cycle of life and death. When the elves were strong before, they also captured female disciples of various tribes at will. The masters of various tribes whispered to each other. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. At this moment, suddenly, the crowd was in turmoil. The human emperor of the human race is here. I heard that the human emperor is now attached to the Sky Demon tribe, and is valued by the Sky Demon tribe's chief. Even the chief of the three-eyed river tribe is very polite to him. In the distance, a middle-aged man wearing the human emperor's battle robe strode forward, followed by a large number of human race strongmen. Yang Xiaoshan was not interested in paying attention to the human emperor of the human race. He and the demon ape waited quietly for the opening of the Eternal Heaven Tomb. One day passed. The Eternal Heaven Tomb vibrated with golden light, and the gate slowly opened. Seeing that the heavenly mausoleum was opened, strong men from all sides rushed into the heavenly mausoleum. However, just when Yang Xiaoshan was about to enter, he was stopped by a master beside the human emperor, who shouted, "Boy, which family of the human race are you from? You are so brave. The human emperor hasn't even gone in yet, and you want to go in too? Get out of the way." Yang Xiaoshan just glanced at the other party, and the power of the 14 sword hearts was activated. Millions of sword ki instantly merged into the heaven and earth, and then the strong man of the human race was suddenly blasted away by millions of sword ki. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 419, Searching for the Eternal Heaven Coffin. The masters around the human emperor were shocked. None of them expected that the human master would be suddenly blown away by the millions of sword energies, because they did not see the human boy take action. While they were shocked, Yang Xiaoshan and the demon ape had already passed through the crowd and entered the eternal heavenly tomb, looking for death. A master around the human emperor was about to rush up and pull Yang Xiaoshan and the demon ape back. However, the human emperor stretched out his hand to stop him and said, "Forget it. After we get out, we will check which family this boy is from. Let's go to the heavenly tomb to find the blood frog first." After that, he led a large number of human masters into the eternal heavenly tomb. Just as everyone was pouring into the eternal heavenly tomb, the undead god of death, the corpse demon, the blood demon, the evil Buddha, and several other peerless demons also followed the crowd into the heavenly tomb. At this time, the auras of several people were restrained, and they were no different from ordinary masters. Especially the undead god of death. There was no immortal death aura on his body, and there was no momentum of a peerless demon. Several people quickly entered the heavenly tomb. The immortal god of death looked at the powerful people pouring in, his eyes full of bloodthirsty gleams. He said to the corpse demons, "Find the eternal heaven coffin first. Find the eternal heaven coffin, and then deal with these blood foods." For him, the powerful people who entered the heavenly tomb were the food on his plate. So, several people flew to the Flame Mountain in the south of the heavenly tomb. However, when passing the Xianlang Palace, the immortal god of death led several people to bypass it. This made the corpse demons confused. They didn't understand why the immortal god of death was so afraid of the Xianlang Palace. Could it be that the Xianlang Palace had some horrors that they didn't know about? Just as the immortal god of death flew to the Flame Mountain in the south, Yang Xiaoshan and the demon ape came to the Flame Mountain. This year, in addition to practicing, Yang Xiaoshan also searched for a lot of information about the ancient sky coffin. After searching for a lot of information about the ancient sky coffin, he has basically determined that the ancient sky coffin is in the Flame Mountain in the heavenly tomb. Because someone had seen the monstrous death energy and monstrous demon energy in the Flame Mountain more than once, the overwhelming death energy should be emitted by the eternal heavenly coffin, and the overwhelming demonic energy should be emitted by the most powerful ancient ancestor of the Yellow Spring Demon sect in the heavenly coffin. Soon, Yang Xiaoshan and the others came to the Flame Mountain again. Last time, Yang Xiaoshan also came to this Flame Mountain in the direction of the immortal death god, but found nothing. I saw the flames of the Flame Mountain in front of me soaring into the sky, and the rolling heat waves filled the entire world. Because of the high temperature, even the space felt distorted. Even standing outside the Flame Mountain, the whole body was hot, as if all the internal organs were roasted. Ordinary emperors dared not approach the Flame Mountain. Yang Xiaoshan did not deploy defense, and flew directly into the Flame Mountain. Although the flames of the Flame Mountain were strong, they could not hurt him. After confirming that the eternal heavenly coffin should be in this flame mountain, Yang Ocean was extremely careful when searching and did not miss any corner. However, half an hour later, the two searched every corner of the flame mountain and still found nothing. Yang Ocean could not help but look at the bottom of the flame mountain. Could it be at the bottom of the flame mountain? The demon ape also looked at the bottom of the flame mountain. After all, they had searched every corner of the flame mountain, but couldn't find it. The only explanation was that the eternal heaven coffin was at the bottom of the flame mountain. Let's go down and take a look, Yang Ocean said, and then urged the power of the 14 sword hearts. Millions of sword ki formed a sword ki vortex around his body. As the sword ki vortex rotated, the ground was constantly blasted open. Yang Ocean and his companions came to the bottom of the flame mountain step by step. After walking down for about 1,000 meters, they came to a world of flames, a world condensed by countless flames. Reincarnation fire, greenwood and green flame, infinite star flame, yin yang ghost fire. The various flames in front of him dazzled Yang Ocean. Here, he saw many rare flames. He even saw some strange fires. Some, not just one or two. The demon ape was also surprised. He just counted them carefully, and there were probably no less than 10 kinds of strange fires here. What is the concept of 10 kinds of strange fires? You know, it is difficult to find a kind of strange fire at ordinary times. At this moment, suddenly, endless flames blasted towards Yang Ocean and the demon ape. It seemed that the arrival of Yang Ocean and the other two outsiders angered these flames. Seeing the overwhelming flames, the demon ape was shocked. Yang Ocean didn't even think about it and directly summoned the purple starfire. The purple starfire was suspended above Yang Ocean's head, and the light of the 3 stars of heaven and earth surged. The flames continued to spread, forming a purple star barrier around Yang Ocean and the demon ape. The purple starfire is worthy of being the 7th ranked divine fire. After the violent sea of fire felt the power of the purple starfire, it actually stopped. Just like a minister seeing the supreme king, all the flames dared not approach Yang Ocean. Even the most powerful strange fire dared not be presumptuous in front of the purple starfire. Seeing this, Yang Ocean felt relieved. He walked forward slowly, under the suppression of the power of the purple starfire. As expected, the flames retreated to both sides. Yang Ocean walked to the center of the sea of fire with confidence. The demon ape followed Yang Ocean closely. However, there were too many flames in the sea of fire. Even if those flames retreated, they only retreated to a few dozen meters away. Therefore, there were still flames in the sky and underground. Yang Ocean and his companions could only see the situation a few dozen meters away with their naked eyes. Moreover, Yang Ocean discovered that there was a mysterious power here that could imprison the power of the soul, and the power of the soul could not be exerted at all. Therefore, the two could only search slowly. The two searched in the world of fire for an hour, and searched all corners, but still did not find the trace of the eternal heaven coffin. Yang Ocean could not help but wonder, could it be that the eternal heaven coffin was not in the flame mountain? At this moment, the surface of the sea of fire in front suddenly broke open, and a monstrous demonic energy rushed into the sky. The demonic energy was so strong that even the demon ape was shocked. This is it. Yang Ocean was pleasantly surprised. He rushed to the surface of the sea of fire. When he came to the surface of the sea of fire, he saw that there was nothing unusual on the surface of the sea of fire, except for the flames, which were still flames. But the monstrous demonic energy just now, Yang Ocean and his companions could see it clearly. Let's go down and take a look. Yang Ocean and the demon ape broke through the surface of the sea of fire and continued to go down to the bottom of the sea of fire. Just as Yang Ocean and the demon ape went down to the bottom of the sea of fire, the immortal god of death and the corpse demon searched the flame mountain and went down to the bottom of the flame mountain. Not long after Yang Ocean and the demon ape entered the bottom of the sea of fire, the immortal god of death and the corpse demons came to the world of fire. When the immortal god of death arrived, the raging flames also devoured them. Looking at the raging flames that were devouring them, the immortal god of death snorted coldly, and billions of immortal death energy rose to the sky, and all the flames were blown away. The sea of fire roared loudly, and was in turmoil. The eternal heaven coffin must be here. Everyone look carefully. said the immortal god of death, and then searched separately from the corpse demons. Chapter 420, Immortal Death Fear. The immortal death god bombarded the raging flames with billions of immortal death energy, and the terrifying power fluctuations were felt by even Yang Ocean and the others. Someone has come to the world of fire. The demon ape was surprised. Find the eternal heaven coffin first, Yang Ocean said. The most urgent task is to find the eternal heaven coffin first. Yang Ocean had a hunch that the person coming was probably the immortal death god. If so, he had to be even faster. Find the eternal heaven coffin before the immortal death god. If the immortal death god finds the eternal heaven coffin first, even if he has mastered Ing, it will be difficult to snatch the eternal heaven coffin back from the other party. After all, if the other party finds the eternal heaven coffin, even if he cannot defeat Master Ding's invincible bombardment, he can still escape with the eternal heaven coffin. If the immortal death god wants to escape, Master Ding cannot stop him. So Yang Ocean sped up and sank down. He used all his strength to activate the power of the purple star divine fire to protect the surroundings of his body. Outside the Zui divine fire barrier, the rolling flames were like bubbling magma. Shocking. If Yang Ocean had not been protected by the divine fire, even the demon ape would have had a hard time getting down to the bottom of the sea of fire. In order to speed up, Yang Ocean simply summoned the Thousand Buddha divine fire and the Thunder Tribulation divine fire. The three divine fires were fully fired. Under the firepower of the three divine fires, the resistance of the sea of fire was indeed much smaller. However, the deeper he went, the stronger the power of the sea of fire became. Endless flames continued to pour out from the ground. Even with the protection of the three divine fires, Yang Ocean's speed gradually slowed down. About half an hour later, suddenly, Yang Ocean's body was empty, and he came to the world at the bottom of the sea of fire. Below, there was a spiritual vein like a fire dragon. This fire spiritual vein was more than 1,000 meters long, and the spiritual energy was like the sea. Yang Ocean and the others were like being in a sea of spiritual energy. There was actually a fire spiritual vein at the bottom of the sea of fire. And it was a top grade spiritual vein, just like the blood dragon spiritual vein he got in the Black Snow Mountain. It was top grade. However, what really attracted Yang Ocean's attention was the huge black coffin suspended above the fire spirit vein. The black coffin, suspended above the fire spirit vein, constantly devoured the fire spirit of the spirit vein, and the coffin instead emitted a cold dark light. Looking at the black coffin in front of him, Yang Ocean was surprised. The black coffin in front of him was undoubtedly the eternal heaven coffin. He and the demon ape went through a lot of hardships, and finally found the eternal heaven coffin. Who would have thought that the eternal heaven coffin, one of the most evil and terrifying ancient artifacts in the Kangshen continent, would be at the bottom of this sea of fire. The eternal heaven coffin was very large, even larger than Yang Ocean imagined. It was hundreds of meters long and hundreds of meters high, and it was suspended there like a mountain. The huge size of the eternal heaven coffin alone gave people a strong sense of oppression. Yang Ocean flew to the eternal heaven coffin, but just as he stretched out his hand and had not touched the sky coffin, he saw a terrifying black ice gas gushing out of the coffin, and Yang Ocean's palm was instantly covered by the black ice gas. At the same time, an astonishing evil force continued to flow into Yang Ocean's body along Yang Ocean's palm, constantly eroding the blood and vitality in Yang Ocean's body. Yang Ocean was shocked. This eternal heaven coffin was so terrifying. His palm was just close to the eternal heaven coffin just now, and before he touched the heaven coffin, his palm was covered by black ice, and in the blink of an eye, his entire arm lost consciousness. Yang Ocean did not dare to be careless, and urged the three great divine fires. Under the power of the three great divine fires, his whole body was surging with fire, and wisps of black ice continued to drift out of his body. However, that astonishing evil force was like a maggot attached to the bone, always attached to his body, and could not be driven away at all. This evil force is the original power of the eternal heaven coffin. If it were an ordinary venerable realm, it would be possessed by the evil force in an instant, and then lose its mind, and become an evil demon. The power of the three great divine fires can only suppress the original power of the eternal heaven coffin, but cannot drive it away. In fact, it was mainly because Yang Ocean was still weak and could not exert the true power of the three divine fires. Otherwise, with the power of the three divine fires, the evil power could still be driven away. Let me do it. The voice of Master Ding sounded. Suddenly, a surge of invincible power was generated. The evil power that had been entrenched in Yang Ocean's body was blasted out. Even so, the evil power was not completely blasted away, but retreated back into the Eternal Heaven coffin. The demon ape was also shocked to see that the Eternal Heaven coffin was so evil. Master Ding, is there any way to subdue the Eternal Heaven coffin? Yang Ocean asked. Yes, if there are hundreds of 9 heaven tribulation thunderwater, I guarantee that it will be subdued. Master Ding smiled. If there are tens of thousands of 9 heaven tribulation thunderwater, can you blast it to pieces? Yang Ocean said unhappily. Grandpa Ding smiled and said, tens of thousands are not necessary. Then he said, however, although I can't subdue it now, I can still take it away first. At this point, it came to the top of the Eternal Heaven coffin and grew thousands of times larger. The mouth of the cauldron emitted a strong swallowing force, pulling the Eternal Heaven coffin into the cauldron. Seeing this, Yang Ocean felt relieved. As long as he could get the Eternal Heaven coffin away, he would find a way to subdue and refine it later. Then, he also carried the fire spirit vein and threw it into the cauldron. This fire spirit vein naturally cannot be taken advantage of by the undead god of death. Just when Yang Ocean was about to leave, suddenly, the sea of fire shook violently, and several figures fell from the sky. They were the undead god of death and the corpse demon. When the undead god of death saw Yang Ocean, their faces changed drastically. In the eyes of ordinary warriors, they are terrifying big demons, and in their eyes, Yang Ocean is a terrifying young man. With a change of expression, the undying god of death looked at the place where the fire spiritual vein was taken away. Although the fire spiritual vein was taken away, the ground was still branded with traces, and the air was still filled with amazing fire spiritual aura. Although the eternal heavenly coffin was taken away, there was still a strong evil aura and dark coldness in the air. Undoubtedly, the eternal heavenly coffin was taken away by Yang Ocean first. And there was also a fire spiritual vein of the upper grade or above. The undying god of death looked ugly. He stared at Yang Ocean, shocked, angry, and furious. Could this young man surnamed Yang really be his nemesis? Brother Yang, right? The undying god of death tried hard to suppress the shock and anger in his heart. He said calmly, you took the eternal heavenly coffin, right? There is also a fire spiritual vein. So, the eternal heavenly coffin is for me, and the fire spiritual vein is yours. How about that? He spoke to Yang Ocean in a negotiating tone. The undying god of death had lived for countless years, and it was probably the first time he spoke to someone in a negotiating tone. As soon as he finished speaking, a golden tripod appeared beside Yang Ocean. It was Master Ding. Seeing Master Ding appear, the immortal death god, corpse demon, blood demon, and evil Buddha were all shocked and hid far away. They were scared by Master Ding. Although corpse demon, blood demon, and evil Buddha had never been blasted, they were also afraid. Chapter 421 The immortal death god was robbed. But this time, Master Ding did not start to attack. Master Ding just stayed quietly beside Yang Ocean, quietly watching the immortal death god and the others. You just said that the eternal heaven coffin belongs to you, and the fire spiritual vein belongs to me. Yang Ocean also looked at the immortal death god quietly. The immortal death god hesitated, not knowing how to answer for a while. The appearance of Master Ding made him feel like a thorn in his back. He didn't know how to answer for a while. If it were someone else, he would not use a negotiating tone to ask the other party which one belongs to you and which one belongs to me. He would just start to kill directly. But now, he, the ancient immortal death god who is feared by everyone, actually didn't know how to answer for a while. If he said yes, I'm afraid he would be greeted by Master Ding's invincible attack. If he said that he didn't need the eternal heaven coffin, wouldn't that be against his conscience? Brother Yang, I have a lot of treasures here, and they are all extinct treasures in ancient times. As long as you give me the eternal heaven coffin, these treasures are all yours. The immortal death god took a deep breath and said, and then took out one golden and shining treasure after another. Seeing the treasures taken out by the immortal god of death, the demon ape was extremely shocked. As the immortal god of death said, these were all treasures that had disappeared in ancient times, and each of them was extraordinary. Even in ancient times, they were shocking. Yang Xiaoshan was also surprised when he looked at the 7 treasures placed in front of the immortal god of death. With his knowledge, he only recognized one of the 7 treasures. This one was the Samsara sword. The Samsara sword was the sword of the ancient Samsara sword god. In ancient times, the ancient sword god was famous in the Kangshen continent, and his strength was close to that of the Lord of Kangshen. Although the Samsara sword was not ranked in the divine sword list, it was not inferior to the sword of Eternal Night in terms of power. He now wanted to condense the 15th invincible sword heart, and what he lacked was the divine sword. If he could get this Samsara sword and comprehend the Samsara sword Dao, he might be able to condense the 15th invincible sword heart. Yang Xiaoshan's eyes were burning. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan's fiery eyes, the immortal death god knew that Yang Xiaoshan was moved. He was delighted. It was a good thing that Yang Xiaoshan was moved. He was afraid that Yang Xiaoshan would not be moved. How is it, brother Yang? The immortal death god said with a smile. Yang Xiaoshan looked at the immortal death god and smiled as well. Your 7 treasures are really good. I want them all. The immortal death god laughed when he heard it. Okay, straightforward. Then he stretched out his hand. Then brother Yang, give me the eternal heaven coffin. Eternal heaven coffin, did I say I gave it to you? Yang Xiaoshan suddenly said. The immortal death god was startled. The corpse demon, the blood demon, and the evil Buddha were all startled. What does it mean? Yang Xiaoshan doesn't want to give the eternal heaven coffin, but wants the immortal death god's 7 treasures? The immortal death god's eyes suddenly flashed with cold light, and he pointed at Yang Xiaoshan angrily. Boy, you. However, he was interrupted by Yang Xiaoshan before he finished speaking. Yang Xiaoshan roared, Master Ding. In an instant, Master Ding grew 1,000,000,000 times larger. The entire sea of fire exploded. The sea of fire in the sky was blown up. Seeing that the Ding Yi had grown 1,000,000,000 times bigger and covered the sky, the immortal death god, the corpse demon, and several others all changed their faces. Retreat. The immortal death god roared, and at the same time, his whole body was covered with a piece of death armor, and he had a 1,000,000-foot long death sword in his hand. This sword was condensed from his immortal death energy. It was already condensed from all the immortal death energy that the immortal death god could mobilize. When Ding Yi blasted down, he suddenly slashed at Ding Yi with a knife. As he slashed with a knife, the immortal death energy roared, and the entire sea of fire boiled. The infinite death energy even blasted through the sea of fire and the flame mountain. Many strong men who had just arrived around the flame mountain saw the immortal death energy blasted out from the ground. Boom. Then, a shocking sound came from the ground of the flame mountain. Along with the shocking sound, everyone saw that one flame mountain after another exploded, and infinite magma sprayed, filling the sky and the ground with magma. The earth continued to crack. The destructive force swept all corners of the flame mountain and even blasted outside the flame mountain. All the masters were scared and fled. One after another, masters were sprayed with magma, or hit by this destructive force, and were blown away, or directly exploded, adding a lot of blood fertilizer to the flame mountain. In the underground space, the death sword of the undead god of death slashed on the body of the Ding Yi. The light exploded. But it was useless. The death sword was directly shattered. The speed of the Ding Yi did not slow down, and continued to blast towards the undead god of death. Looking at the Ding Yi who was falling like a meteorite at a speed of 10,000 times, the undead god of death and the corpse demon all looked at him. The corpse demon, the blood demon, and the evil Buddha attacked the Ding Yi almost at the same time, but it was also useless. Their attacks seemed to be blasted on the wall of the heavenly realm, and could not be shaken at all. Boom. The Ding Yi fell down. The ground was blown up. The earth shook. This attack seemed to blast through even the ground. The undying death god, corpse demon, blood demon, and evil Buddha were all blown away. The death armor that the undying death god had just put on was shattered again. The armor on the corpse demon, blood demon, and evil Buddha was blown to pieces. They looked like beggars, as if they had just returned from a bloody battle on the ancient demon battlefield. Let's go. How dare the undying death god stay? He and the corpse demon and blood demon broke through the sea of fire and soared into the sky. As for the Samsara sword, he didn't want it either. In fact, even if he wanted it, he didn't have time to take it. Seeing the undying death god and his men fleeing in panic, the demon ape didn't know what to say for a while. That was the undying death god. The undying death god who made the entire Kangshen continent fall into endless fear. Their son actually robbed the undying death god. He had never thought that someone would dare to rob the undying death god. Yang Xiaoshan was calculating the gains and losses. A mouthful of 9 heavenly tribulation thunderwater in exchange for the 7 treasures of the Samsara sword. This deal should be worthwhile. He did not chase after the immortal death gods who had escaped and began to look for the Samsara sword that had just been blasted apart. The immortal death god, corpse demon, blood demon, and evil Buddha escaped from underground and came to the sky above the flame mountain. All of them spit out a mouthful of blood. The corpse demon looked at the underground in horror, fearing that Master Ding would chase him out from underground. Last time in the Death Sword Tomb, he had seen the son of the Hades, Yanping, being blasted, but this was the first time they truly experienced Master Ding's incomparable terrifying power. After escaping, the immortal death gods did not dare to stop and flew away again, not stopping until a long time later. After stopping, the immortal death god roared to the sky, venting his anger and murderous intent. He was actually robbed. It was robbed by the kid named Yang. Thinking of the stolen Samsara sword, the immortal death god madly bombarded the mountain in front of him, blasting the mountains into the sky. Yang, I will make you pay the price. I will kill everyone around you and turn them into my undead spirits. I have been updating 3 times a day recently, and I will try to break through 1 million words before June 30th. Thanks to the brothers who vote for recommendations every day. Chapter 422, The Birth of the Ancient Blood Frog. The roar of the immortal death god resounded in the heavenly tomb, making all the powerful people who heard it shudder. Let's go find the ancient blood frog. After a long time, the immortal death god suppressed his murderous intent and said. The evil Buddha hesitated for a moment and said, what if that kid also goes to find the ancient blood frog? The immortal death god's face twitched. This is not impossible. The powerful people from all sides poured into the heavenly tomb. Almost all of them came for the ancient blood frog. Just now, they were hit by the invincible blow of Master Ding, and almost even their internal organs and bones were broken. If they meet the man named Yang again, they will definitely be broken by Master Ding again. This time, we must find the ancient blood frog before him. The immortal death god said in a deep voice, we can't let him get there first again. Thinking of the eternal heavenly coffin being taken by Yang Xiaoshan first, he could not suppress his anger. We will leave after we find the ancient blood frog. When I get out, I will kill everyone around this kid. The immortal death god swallowed a handful of healing pills. Several people flew away. In the eternal heaven tomb, there is a place called Blood Abyss. If an ancient blood frog is born, then only in the Blood Abyss can an ancient blood frog be born. Therefore, several people flew to the Blood Abyss at a high speed. After the undead god of death and the corpse demon escaped, Yang Xiaoshan searched and finally found 7 treasures including the sword of reincarnation. Looking at the 7 treasures in front of him, Yang Xiaoshan asked Master Ding to directly erase the soul imprint left by the undead god of death. The soul imprint was erased, and the undead god of death who escaped far away vomited blood again. After erasing the soul imprint, Yang Xiaoshan used the blood refining technique to plant his own soul imprint on several treasures, and then simply refined the sword of reincarnation. Yang Xiaoshan then left the bottom space of the flame mountain with the demon ape and Master Ding. After coming out of the bottom space of the flame mountain, the undead god of death had long disappeared. The demon ape groaned. The immortal death god and the others may have gone to the blood abyss. Let's go to the blood abyss. Yang Xiaoshan broke through the air and flew to the blood abyss with the demon ape without hesitation. On the way, Yang Xiaoshan asked the demon ape and Ding Yi if there were other ways to refine the eternal sky coffin. The demon ape thought for a while and said, the eternal sky coffin is a treasure of the ancient Huanquan demon sect. The Yinfeng sect of the Futu Empire was founded by the elders of the Huanquan demon sect. The Yinfeng sect may know how to refine the eternal sky coffin. Yinfeng sect? Yang Zai Ocean nodded. Perhaps, the immortal death god also knows how to refine the eternal sky coffin. The demon ape said. After all, the immortal death god is an ancient god. And he has been looking for the eternal sky coffin several times, so he should know how to refine the eternal sky coffin. Yang Zai Ocean shook his head. The immortal death god is now eager to devour his flesh and blood, so how could he tell him how to refine the eternal sky coffin? So, he had to go to the Yinfeng sect again. Just when Yang Zai Ocean and the demon ape rushed to the blood abyss, the blood abyss was already surrounded by powerful people from all sides. Below the blood abyss was a surging sea of blood, a blood-like sea that was undulating. On the shore of the blood abyss, powerful people from all sides stopped and waiting for the ancient blood frog to be born. However, no one dared to get too close to the blood abyss. No one dared to enter the blood abyss. Because in the blood abyss, there were not only ancient blood frogs, but also many ancient peerless beasts. There was a powerful person in the god realm who relied on his strength to enter the blood abyss to find the ancient 9-dragon blood Ganoderma, but in the end he was gnawed by the peerless beasts in the blood abyss without even a bone left. Therefore, everyone dared only stand on the shore of the blood abyss and wait. Strangely enough, the peerless beasts in the depths of the blood abyss could only move in the abyss, and dared not leave the blood abyss. It is rumored that once these peerless beasts leave the blood abyss, they will turn into a pool of blood. The human emperor and a group of powerful people of the human race were also waiting on the shore. Just when everyone was looking forward to it, suddenly, the blood sea and the blood abyss began to roll. Everyone was shocked to see that the blood sea and the blood abyss, which had been silent for many years, suddenly rolled. The blood sea is moving. Maybe the ancient blood frog has really been born. A master of the three-eyed river clan said happily. Hearing about the ancient blood frog, everyone stared at the blood abyss, fearing that they would miss the opportunity. Because if the ancient blood frog was born, it would only take a moment. Once the ancient blood frog jumped out of the blood sea, it would return to the blood abyss in a breath. Once this moment was missed, the ancient blood frog would probably never come out again. Under everyone's nervous gaze, the blood sea and the blood abyss fluctuated more and more violently. In the blood sea, golden blood light suddenly appeared on the surface of the blood sea. Seeing the golden blood light, everyone was even more excited. Because this was a sign of the birth of the ancient blood frog. Sure enough, not long after the golden blood light appeared, suddenly, a frog-like creature the size of 2 fists jumped out from the bottom of the blood sea. This creature was blood-colored, but it didn't smell bloody at all. Instead, it exuded a scent like elixir. This was the ancient blood frog, an ancient treasure that could improve blood and ki. When the ancient blood frog jumped out of the blood sea, the surging blood and ki surprised everyone. Ancient blood frog. The strong men of various races took action and grabbed the ancient blood frog. Just as everyone was taking action, suddenly, a loud shout came. "All of you get out of here, the god of death." The sound was like thunder, and the blood sea was blasted with a loud bang. In the shock of everyone, billions of immortal death ki turned into a huge sea and came roaring, directly blasting the strong men of various races who were about to rob into the blood abyss. There were screams. After blasting the strong men from all sides into the blood sea, the immortal death ki rolled up the ancient blood frog. Several figures appeared on the shore of the blood abyss. They were the immortal god of death, the corpse demon, the blood demon, and the evil Buddha. Immortal death god. Seeing the few people, the strong men from all sides screamed, and their faces changed drastically. At this time, the ancient blood frog caught by the immortal death energy fell into the hands of the immortal death god. The immortal death god grabbed the ancient blood frog, looked at the ancient blood frog in his hand, and laughed. "It is indeed the ancient blood frog. Good. With this ancient blood frog, our blood and ki will be restored soon." The corpse demon, the blood demon, and the evil Buddha were also happy. At this moment, suddenly, the golden blood light on the surface of the blood sea shone again, and this time it shone more strongly. In the eyes of everyone, a larger ancient blood frog jumped out from the bottom of the blood sea. This ancient blood frog was as big as 4 fists, and its blood energy was surging all over its body, and the blood light on its body soared into the sky. Seeing this, the immortal death god's eyes lit up, and he was happy. With one hand, the immortal death energy turned into a palm, and he was about to grab the ancient blood frog in his hand. Roar. Suddenly, a huge blood python broke through the sea of blood, roared, opened its bloody mouth, and devoured the immortal god of death on the shore. This blood python had two heads, and was extremely ferocious. The upper body alone jumped out of the sea of blood, and was thousands of feet long. The aura was so strong, that many powerful gods at the scene were shocked. It's a two-headed blood python. Chapter 423, Met the Son of Terror. Two-headed blood spirit python. An ancient and peerless beast. It is also a very difficult and terrifying beast to kill. The two-headed blood spirit python has strong defense and its body is extremely smooth. When you attack it, almost all of them will slide away. Moreover, this kind of blood spirit python has super vitality. Even if its body is broken into many sections, it can automatically heal and recover. Looking at the two-headed blood spirit python opening its bloody mouth to attack, the undead god of death has a normal expression. As soon as he opened his mouth, countless immortal death energy roared out and turned into millions of immortal dead spirits. The immortal dead spirits bombarded the two-headed blood spirit python. Boom. The blood spirit python was blown away. The blood spirit python, which was originally extremely defensive and extremely slippery, was blown into countless sections. Just as everyone was surprised, the blood spirit python, which was blown into countless sections, healed its body again. Just as the blood spirit python was about to heal again, suddenly, millions of immortal dead spirits turned into death energy and penetrated into the blood spirit python's body along with the blood energy of the blood spirit python. The blood python roared angrily and struggled, trying to expel the immortal death energy from its body, but it was useless. The immortal death energy on its body became stronger and stronger, and finally, it completely turned into an immortal dead spirit. Seeing that the fierce two-headed blood python was controlled by the immortal death god and turned into an immortal dead spirit in the blink of an eye, the people who had originally had a fluke mentality were shocked and retreated, trying to escape. The immortal death god took the second ancient blood frog in his hand, looked at the people who were about to retreat, and sneered. Why, you want to escape? Do you think you can escape? Everyone should just be my immortal dead spirits. Having said this, he was about to use the immortal death energy to devour everyone on the scene. Just when the immortal death god was about to make a move, he suddenly stopped there, and his face changed drastically. In the distant sky, a young man was walking in the air. The young man was none other than Yang Ocean. The corpse demon, the blood demon, and the evil Buddha saw Yang Ocean almost at the same time, and they were all shocked. How come this kid surnamed Yang came so quickly? They just rushed to the blood abyss with all their strength. After a while, Yang Ocean had already followed. Go. The undead god of death roared angrily, then broke through the air and disappeared in front of everyone in the blink of an eye. Corpse demon, blood demon, and evil Buddha also broke through the air and left. Seeing Yang Ocean appear, no matter how unwilling they were, they had to retreat. Everyone saw that the undead god of death and the corpse demon suddenly changed their faces and fled in a panic. They were all stunned. They didn't understand what was going on. Just now, the undead god of death was going to devour everyone and turn them into undead spirits, so why did he suddenly run away? Many people looked at Yang Ocean, who was walking in the air with a look of surprise and doubt. The undead god of death seemed to be afraid of this boy just now. But how could it be possible? Would a dignified ancient god be afraid of a boy of 14 or 15 years old? Many people couldn't help but look at the demon ape behind Yang Ocean, wondering. In the midst of everyone's doubts, Yang Ocean and the demon ape arrived at the scene. It's this kid. The human emperor and the experts around him recognized Yang Ocean. The human emperor looked at Yang Ocean and was also confused. He could see that the immortal death god must have fled because of the appearance of this young man. But he also couldn't understand why the immortal death god would be afraid of a young man. Yang Ocean ignored everyone, and his eyes fell on the blood abyss. At this time, the blood sea and the blood abyss was once again filled with golden blood light, and the golden blood light was much stronger than the previous two times. Seeing such a strong golden blood light, everyone's eyes were burning. Undoubtedly, this ancient blood frog that was about to be born was bigger than the previous two. Under everyone's burning eyes, an ancient blood frog that was the size of more than a dozen fists jumped out. When everyone saw it, they once again rushed to grab it. Suddenly, with a thunderous roar, the demon ape instantly recovered its body, and its demonic power was overwhelming. It slapped out with one palm, directly shocking everyone around who was trying to attack. With a backhand, it took the ancient blood frog in its hand. The heart-connecting demon ape. Seeing the demon ape recover its original form, the strong men on the scene were all shocked, and their faces changed. The human emperor and the strong men of the human race behind him were even more shocked, and took a breath of cold air. The strong man next to the young man turned out to be the heart-connecting demon ape. The one from Demon Ape Ridge. Then who is this young man? He is the son of terror. He is the son of terror. Suddenly, someone looked at Yang Ocean in shock, and asked with excitement. The son of terror. It's the son of terror. At the scene, many masters of the 100 Races Empire looked at Yang Ocean incoherently. In the Battle of Shiniao City, the elf queens Yuanlang and Sima and other powerful gods were killed by the heart-connecting demon ape and fled. Since that battle, everyone in the 100 Races Empire knew that the son of terror was following the one from Demon Ape Ridge. In the Battle of Shiniao City, the name of the son of terror spread throughout the 100 Races Empire. Who in the 100 Races Empire doesn't know the name of the son of terror? The disciples of the 100 Races Empire worshipped Yang Ocean to the point of blindness. Therefore, when they learned that the boy in front of them was the son of terror, many disciples of various races were extremely excited. Some masters of the 100 Races even bowed deeply to Yang Ocean and said, "Meet the son of terror." The masters of the human race looked at Yang Ocean in shock. In particular, the master of the human race who had stopped Yang Ocean at the entrance of the heavenly tomb was so scared that he collapsed. Yang Ocean looked at the excited crowd and was quite surprised. Then he nodded to everyone and clasped his fists. However, since the third ancient blood frog came out, no more ancient blood frogs have been born. After Yang Ocean waited for a long time and confirmed that no ancient blood frogs were born again, he left the blood abyss with the demon ape. Originally, he planned to let Master Ding take him into the depths of the blood abyss, but Master Ding said that a mouthful of the 9-layer heaven tribulation thunder water could only allow him to stay in the depths of the blood abyss for 1 minute, so Yang Ocean had to give up. Now, the 9-layer heaven tribulation thunder water on him is getting less and less, and he has to keep it to deal with the undead death god and the corpse demon. After leaving the blood abyss, there was still some time before the end of the heavenly tomb, so Yang Ocean did not leave the heavenly tomb and continued to look for other treasures. He did not leave the heavenly tomb until the end of the heavenly tomb, and then found an uninhabited place and took out the ancient blood frog that was the size of a dozen fists. An ordinary ancient blood frog is equivalent to half a life fruit, but the ancient blood frog in front of him is not an ordinary ancient blood frog. If you swallow it, the effect is probably comparable to 3 life fruits. The ancient blood frog melted in his mouth, and the power of the elixir was like a super tsunami, which made Yang Ocean's body make strange noises. Yang Ocean's whole body was constantly expanding. As he refined the ancient blood frog over and over again, his blood and ki soared at an astonishing speed. Soon, it reached a radius of 30,000 miles, and it continued to soar. When it reached a radius of 30,000 miles, Yang Ocean urged his blood and ki in true essence to bombard the 366th acupoint, and then the 367th acupoint. One acupoint after another was filled with Yang Ocean's blood and true essence and activated. Like stars that light up one after another. Chapter 424 Brother, you are back. Soon, the 365 acupoints in Yang Ocean's body were lit up again. When the 365 acupoints were lit up, 365 golden light pillars roared up again, blasting 365 huge holes in the sky. The 365 golden light pillars rotated, and the innate formation diagram appeared again. Dots of golden rain fell from the holes in the sky again. The rain from the sky appeared again. Unfortunately, no one in Kangshen Academy saw it this time. No one in Kangshen continent saw this strange scene. Yang Ocean sat cross-legged on the uninhabited mountain, and his body eagerly absorbed the golden rain from the sky. The strange fragrance filled the entire uninhabited mountain. The demon ape smelled the fragrance of the rain from the sky and felt extremely comfortable all over his body. He could not absorb the rain from the sky, but just smelling the fragrance of the rain benefited him a lot. Looking at the strange scene in front of him, even the demon ape who had experienced countless life and death battles was still shocked. The rain from the sky, a scene that only existed in ancient myths. He was lucky to see it with his own eyes. At the same time, he was even more fortunate that he had chosen to follow Yangtze Ocean. Just like last time, a whole day passed. The rain from the sky stopped. Yangtze Ocean was still sitting cross-legged on the ground, continuing to refine the ancient blood frog. More than a month passed. Yangtze Ocean finally stopped practicing. Just as he had estimated, this ancient blood frog was comparable to 3 life fruits. His blood and ki were improved to an astonishing degree, and his cultivation level also broke through one after another, from the previous 6th level of the realm of nobility to the 8th level of the realm of nobility. In addition to the 365 acupoints he opened last time, he has now opened 730 acupoints. A strong man in the realm of nobility who can open 365 acupoints and form a large circle of heaven is already a monster among the monsters of the Kangshen continent. Like the Kangshen Academy, the only disciples who can open 365 acupoints now are the 4 swords and 4 beauties. But now, Yangtze Ocean has opened up a total of 730 acupoints. This is definitely the only one in Kangshen Academy. Even Zibuhu, the evil sword at the peak of the 10th level of the Venerable Realm, has only opened up 399 acupoints so far. Not even 400. After absorbing the rain from heaven this time, Yangtze Ocean found that his body was tighter and his internal organs contained endless vitality. His originally immortal body had an immortal aura. Immortal and indestructible. This was the result of absorbing the rain from heaven for the 2nd time. Undoubtedly, his body was several times stronger than before. Congratulations, young master. When Yangtze Ocean was looking at his physical condition, the demon ape excitedly stepped forward to congratulate Yangtze Ocean. Yangtze Ocean nodded and smiled at the demon ape. Let's go. Let's leave here first. The two of them broke through the air. Young master, are we going back to Kangshen Academy now? No, to Xianzang Mountain. The demon ape was startled. Go to Xianzang Mountain? The Xianzang Mountain of Xianzang Academy? He asked Yangtze Ocean. What did the young master do at the Sky Burial Mountain? Yangtze Ocean nodded. He had already condensed 14 sword hearts, and he could have opened the 3rd palace of the Kangshen Cave Mansion. But he had been delayed these days. This time, he would take the Kangshen hand from the Kangshen Cave Mansion. The Kangshen hand is one of the items in the Kangshen suit, and it must be very powerful. So, the two flew to the Sky Burial Academy of the Foyuan Empire. On the way, Yangtze Ocean refined the Samsara sword again, and began to comprehend the Samsara sword Dao. Just as Yangtze Ocean was rushing to the Sky Burial Academy, the undead death god and the corpse demon came to the Fan family of the Great Brahma Empire. The undead death god stared at the Fan family, which was endless in front of him, with his grey eyes, revealing a bloodthirsty murderous look. The Fan family, which has been passed down for countless years, is one of the oldest families in the Kangshen continent. Naturally, there are many treasures in the Fan family. Of course, there must be many good elixirs and spiritual medicines. Maybe there is an ancient spiritual medicine like the 9 dragon blood Ganoderma. If they could get a few ancient spiritual medicines like the 9 dragon blood Ganoderma and a few ancient divine pills, their injuries would be completely healed, and their cultivation could even be further improved. The Fan family has an ancient divine pill, which was refined by the 1000 Buddha medicine god back then. I wonder if the Fan family has used it. The corpse demon stared at the Fan family in front of him, and also revealed a greedy and bloodthirsty light. Whether it has been used or not, we will know after we destroy the Fan family. The immortal death god sneered, and when he said this, his fist suddenly blasted out, and hundreds of millions of immortal dead spirits flew out. The corpse demon, the blood demon, and the evil Buddha attacked at the same time. Suddenly, corpses, blood seas, and evil spirits covered the sky. Boom. The Fan family, which has been passed down for countless years, had its palaces blown into powder one after another, and one after another of the Fan family disciples turned into blood mist. Many of the Fan family disciples didn't even know how they died. Soon, the sound of killing shook the sky. Screams resounded in every corner of the Fan family. The whole country of the Great Brahma Empire was shaken. Yang Xiaoshan didn't know about the affairs of the Fan family. When he arrived at the Xianzang Academy, the sky was bright and the sun was rising. Everything was full of vitality. The Xianzang Academy was still as lively as before. The disciples who signed up lined up in long queues from one hill to another. Looking at the scene of people queuing up to sign up, Yang Xiaoshan felt familiar. More than 2 years had passed in the blink of an eye. The scenes when Enzuoqiu first came to the Xianzang Academy seemed like they were just yesterday. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was about to go to the Xianzang mountain, the crowd suddenly became agitated, and a peerless beauty with an extremely hot body broke through the air. This peerless beauty was none other than Mu Yunshan, who was born with a beautiful body. Seeing Mu Yunshan coming, the disciples who were queuing up to sign up showed their rise of enthusiasm, admiration, and love. Its senior sister Mu Yunshan. Many disciples were excited. For the disciples of the Xianzang Academy and the male disciples of various sects and tribes in the Foyan Empire, Mu Yunshan was definitely the goddess in their hearts. In the eyes of admiration and love from all the disciples, Mu Yunshan flew over here. Brother, you are so beautiful, aren't you stunned? At this time, a disciple who came to register beside Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said to Yang Xiaoshan, I wonder which man will win the heart of Goddess Mu in the future. Yang Xiaoshan smiled. At this time, Mu Yunshan, who was flying over here, had a trace of sadness between her eyebrows. Just as she was about to fly to her own Peach Blossom Peak, she suddenly saw a light blue figure in the crowd. Seeing the light blue figure, Mu Yunshan was stunned, thinking that she had seen it wrong. She looked again, and then her face was full of surprise and excitement. She rushed to Yang Xiaoshan at almost the fastest speed she had ever run. Brother, you are back. Mu Yunshan stood in front of Yang Xiaoshan, still not believing her eyes, fearing that it was not true, and excitedly held Yang Xiaoshan's hand with both hands. It's really my brother, you are really back. Mu Yunshan's chest was heaving with excitement. The disciple standing next to Yang Xiaoshan was stunned, looking at Mu Yunshan holding Yang Xiaoshan's hand in disbelief. Chapter 425 Who are you? Mu Yunshan's hands were very tender, smooth, and silky, as if they had no bones. Holding Mu Yunshan's boneless hands, Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, well, I'm back. Mu Yunshan was still excited to hold Yang Xiaoshan's hands. Her pretty face seemed angry, happy, resentful, and charming. It's been more than 2 years since my brother left, and I haven't seen you come back to see me. Have you forgotten me? Yang Xiaoshan shook his hand and smiled. No, I always remember you. Hearing this, Mu Yunshan felt as sweet as drinking honey, and her face was red with sweetness. Brother, you will stay for a few days before leaving this time, right? Yang Xiaoshan nodded and smiled. Well, I will leave in a few days. This time he came back, not only to take the hand of Kangshan, but also to visit the sword ancestor Ji Wudi, to learn the sword art from the sword ancestor Ji Wudi, to sharpen his sword art again, to see if he could condense the 15th sword heart. So, he had to stay for a while before leaving. When Mu Yunshan heard Yang Xiaoshan say that he would leave in a few days, her pretty face was full of joy, and she said coquettishly, then brother, you can live in my Teohua Peak in the future. Hearing Mu Yunshan say that Yang Xiaoshan would live in Teohua Peak, all the disciples around her swallowed hard. Mu Yunshan was born with a beautiful body. If she lived in Teohua Peak, wouldn't it be so pleasant tonight? All the disciples were envious and looked at Yang Xiaoshan with jealousy, jealous to the point of madness. Yang Xiaoshan hesitated for a moment and smiled. Okay, then I will live in my sister's Teohua Peak tonight. Tomorrow, he will go to the sword ancestor Ji Wudi to learn the way of the sword, and then he can't live in Mu Yunshan's Teohua Peak. When Mu Yunshan heard Yang Xiaoshan say that he would live in her Teohua Peak tonight, her chest bounced with joy. Okay, then it's a deal. I'll make peach blossom tea later. Peach blossom tea again. Yang Xiaoshan made a bitter face and smiled. Sister, can you change the tea? Mu Yunshan looked at Yang Xiaoshan's bitter face and smiled sweetly. Her laughter was as loud as a bell. Okay, then we won't drink peach blossom tea tonight, but Dahan Peo. Yang Xiaoshan was sweating, so he was destined to drink tea tonight. So, Mu Yunshin pulled Yang Xiaoshan to fly to her Teohua Peak with great joy. The disciple stood there, staring at the figures of Mu Yunshin and Yang Xiaoshan leaving in a daze, with 10,000 horses trampling in his heart. Just as Mu Yunshin was pulling Yang Xiaoshan to fly to Teohua Peak, he saw a group of disciples from the Xianzang Academy flying towards them. This group of disciples came fiercely, and it seemed that they were coming for the two of them. The leader was a 20-year-old young man wearing a bright red brocade robe, looking very coquettish. When Mu Yunshin saw this coquettish man, her eyebrows frowned. This young man, named Du Hanqing, is a new disciple this year, but his talent is terrifying. When he signed up, he passed the stone tablet test for testing his talent, and his value broke through 7,000. Although it was not as amazing as Yang Xiaoshan's 7,321, it also reached 7,179. When Du Hanqing's talent test value came out, the whole Xianzang Academy was shocked, not only alarming Dean Wanqing, but also alarming the hidden masters of Jianziji Wudi. Du Hanqing was even accepted as a personal disciple by the hidden master of the academy, the god of Shura. Who is the god of Shura? Rumor has it that he is the grandson of the Lord of the Gods. In Xianzang Academy, his status, prestige and strength are second only to Jianziji Wudi. Since joining Xianzang Academy, Du Hanqing has acted arrogantly and recklessly, often pestering Mu Yunshin, which makes her more annoyed than He Jun, and He Zen of the He family. However, Du Hanqing has the support of the god of Shura behind her, and she can do nothing about Du Hanqing. Du Hanqing saw Yang Xiaoshan and Mu Yunshin from a distance. When he saw Mu Yunshin holding Yang Xiaoshan's hand affectionately, his face suddenly darkened. Yang Xiaoshan also saw Du Hanqing and others coming aggressively. Mu Yunshin was quite embarrassed and explained to Yang Xiaoshan, "Brother, you have to be careful. That coquettish man is called Du Hanqing. He is very powerful. He is a genius who joined the Xianzang Academy this year. His talent test value has reached 7,179. Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. 7,179. Yes. Mu Yunshin said, he, like you, broke through to 7,000. At that time, even Jianziji Wudi and others were alarmed. Later, he was accepted as a personal disciple by the god of Shura. God of Shura. Yang Xiaoshan and the demon ape were both surprised. 100,000 years ago, the Lord of the Gods shocked the Kangshan continent. They all knew that the god of Shura was the grandson of the Lord of the Gods. Mu Yunshin nodded. Yes, he is now a disciple of the god of Shura, and like you, he has condensed the 9 invincible sword hearts. At the beginning, Yang Xiaoshan and Wei Zhangyuan fought a decisive battle on the top of the Sky Burial Peak, and activated the power of the 9 sword hearts. Mu Yunshin thought that Yang Xiaoshan still had the 9 sword hearts. As Mu Yunshin was talking, Du Hanqing led his men to Yang Xiaoshan and his men. Du Hanqing came, and didn't waste any words. He stared at Yang Xiaoshan and said directly, "Boy, I said that whoever dares to touch Mu Yunshin must cut off his arms. Do you cut off your arms yourself, or do you want me to do it?" Yang Xiaoshan's hand not only touched it, but also touched it very hard. Damn it, he hasn't touched it yet. When the demon ape heard that the other party asked Yang Xiaoshan to cut off his arms, his eyes were bloodshot. However, Yang Xiaoshan stretched out his hand and stopped the demon ape. He looked at Du Hanqing, too lazy to talk nonsense, and said, "Go ahead." Du Hanqing heard this, he smiled, and black flames appeared all over his body. He didn't hesitate, and punched Yang Xiaoshan. When he punched, the force of his fist roared endlessly. Behind him, there was a 1,000-foot Shura figure, looking down on the world. Shura divine art. Mu Yunshin was shocked. She didn't expect Du Hanqing to use the Shura divine art. As soon as he arrived, the Shura divine art is the strongest skill of the god of Shura, and it is also the strongest skill of the ancient Shura demon cult. It is rumored that when the Shura divine art is cultivated to the highest level, it can transform into Shura and sweep across the world. Facing Du Hanqing's punch, Yang Xiaoshan didn't even look at him, and directly slapped him with a slap, blowing up the opponent's fist. Before Du Hanqing could react, a terrifying force had hit his chest. No, it hit his whole body. Bang! Du Hanqing was slapped back and directly stuck on the halfway of the distant mountain. The rocks on the mountain exploded. There was a loud noise. The new disciples who followed Du Honking were stunned and couldn't believe Du Honking, stuck on the mountain. Du Honking, who was known as the son of Shura of Xianzang Academy, was actually slapped away. Mu Yunshan's cherry mouth was also wide open, with astonishment on her face. She knew that Yang Xiaoshan would win, but she didn't expect Yang Xiaoshan to win so easily. This is not a battle, it's just slapping a fly. After a while, Du Honking, who was stuck on the mountain, was shaking with light all over his body, roaring, and his true energy stretched out wildly, directly blowing the mountain away. He flew out, his hair was disheveled, and he turned into a fierce ghost, staring at Yang Xiaoshan with bloodshot eyes. Who are you? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.